Hey YouTube, Scott Stevens here. How you doing? How many seasons will it take to simulate Kennesaw State into a national championship team? The Owls are a one-star team, lowest rated in college football, 25, 71 overall, 73 offense, 71 defense. So you need a good coach to lead them to the promised land. So we hired Hayden Fox. You might remember Hayden Fox from the old TV show Coach. He was the head coach of the Minnesota State Screaming Eagles before being promoted to the NFL, where he was the head coach of the Orlando Breakers. So the Owls signed Hayden to a 4-year contract, and things got off to a solid start, you would think. There's our first commitment, 3-star free safety Frank Ash out of Hollywood, Florida. So the first commitment for the Owls is a 3-star free safety. 6 games into the first season, not a bad start, 3-3. We lost at UTSA 40-7. We beat Louisiana 21-7. Lost at San Jose State 24-9. Then we beat the Pandas only 20-7. Looking for a better result out of that one. Then we lost at Jacksonville State 28-23. That was a close one. They're undefeated. And then we went to Middle Tennessee State and pulled out a 35-21 victory. So not too bad a start. 3-3 for the Owls, 1-1 in Conference USA play. Not too bad, in a very close loss to an undefeated Jacksonville State team. So things were looking up for the Kennesaw State Owls with Hayden Fox at the helm. Take a look at the Conference USA standings. Kennesaw State 3-3 overall, 1-1 in the conference. So halfway through the season, they are in contention for a possible Conference USA championship game. Not a bad start for the lowest ranked team in college football, 25. They did make it. Look at that. They had a great second half of the season, and they played in the Conference USA championship game against 15th ranked Jacksonville State, who you might remember we lost to. Tight game. Take a look at the schedule for the season. The Owls finished 8-4, 6-2 in Conference USA play. There's that tough loss. Jacksonville State finished the regular season 10-2, ranked number 15 in the nation. And the Owls will be taking them on for the Conference USA championship. Second half of the season, the Owls beat Liberty 25-23. They're 8-4. Not a bad win there at all. At Western Kentucky, beat them 40-28. Hilltoppers are 6-6. Won at UTEP 32-29. Then beat Sam Houston 20-10. Good win over Florida International at home, 16-13. Panthers are 8-4. And then they lost the regular season finale to bring an end to the winning streak to Louisiana Tech, 35-34, heartbreaker there. But the Owls finished 8-4, very solid season after a 3-3 start, and they will match up against Jacksonville State for the Conference USA Championship. Jacksonville State 15th in the nation, the Owls 8-4. And let's take a look at the final Conference USA standings for 2024. Jacksonville State 10-2, 6-2. Kennesaw State 8-4, 6-2 as well. Florida International just out of the race, 8-4, 5-3. Western Kentucky 5-3. Liberty 5-3 in conference play as well. So we're looking at a very tough Conference USA matchup for the championship in 2024. Right now, Jacksonville State has a 17-7 lead. Late in the third quarter, the Owls scrambling. He gets around the corner. He's got a first down and a late touchdown in the third quarter. And the Owls are still in this game, and their hopes for the Conference USA Championship are still alive. 17-13, 1:15 to go in the third quarter. Gamecocks fans can't believe it. They're letting the Owls hang around. Nice play there. You can see he gets around the corner. Nobody there to stop him as he reaches pay dirt. At halftime, Jacksonville State had a 17-0 lead. Kennesaw State had a pretty good second half to make it a game. There was a nice touchdown pass right there. It wasn't for a touchdown, but it was close enough. But they fell short. The Owls fell short 17-14. They just fell behind by too much in the first half and couldn't make up that distance in the second half. They did play well, but they fell short 17-14. But not a bad start for Hayden Fox and the Kennesaw State Owls in the series of how many seasons will it take to simulate Kennesaw State into a national championship. We're simulating everything except recruiting. We were manually recruiting all of the recruits. Everything else is simulated. So there's the Conference USA Championship to Jacksonville State. Enjoy it, fellas, because we're coming back, hopefully, next year to challenge for the championship one more time. See, that 17-0 deficit at halftime just proved to be too much. The Owls scored 14 points in the third quarter, but were not able to muster up anything else. They finished the season 8-5. Jacksonville State 11-2. They are the Conference USA champions. That 8-5 record got Kennesaw State an invite to the Bahamas Bowl, taking on 24th ranked South Alabama, the Jaguars. The favorite coming into the Bahamas Bowl, but not bad. Kennesaw State, their first season, they get into a bowl game, and look at that, they won 24-7 over the favored South Alabama Jaguars. So Kennesaw State finishes their first season under Hayden Fox at 9-5. South Alabama losing the Bahamas Bowl where they were favored. So Kennesaw State off to a good start. Bahamas Bowl champions in season number 1 under Hayden Fox. So things are looking promising for the Owls. Here's one of the highlights of the game. Owls up 10-7 here midway through the second quarter. Once again, quarterback keeps it himself, scrambles, and finds pay dirt. He was one of the featured offensive players for the Owls this year and a big factor in why they finished with a winning season and a bowl championship. Owls travel very well. You can see their crowd right there. Davis Bryson, sophomore quarterback for the Owls. Look at the speed. Got around the corner, and he's in there for a touchdown. That led the way to a Bahamas Bowl victory in season 1. There's one of the touchdowns for South Alabama. Bryson back to pass. Look at that, a little behind the receiver, but he made a nice catch there at the 25-yard line. Here's another highlight. Is this the one that he took it in himself? I think it is. It is. So there was the touchdown for Bryson. That one put Kennesaw State over the top for a 24-7 win in the Bahamas Bowl against South Alabama. So the Hayden Fox era is underway and pretty successful. Davis Bryson had 141 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, also a whole bunch of yards on the ground to lead the Owls to the bowl game victory. And Hayden Fox promised success when he was hired, and so far he has delivered on that promise. 1 season, a winning record, and a bowl win. George Smoot, we had to hire George Smoot because our offensive coordinator left. He apparently did not have the same vision as Hayden Fox did, so we hired George Smoot to be our new offensive coordinator, and he will take over moving into the next season. The Owls had the 48th best recruiting class, so not too bad for their first season. We'll have to see what happens in season 2. Season 2, 2025 for the Owls. Will it continue to be a successful season? Looking at the season coming in, The Owls are up to a 1.5-star school, so the program got a bump up. 83 overall, 82 offense, 84 defense. Mid-season report after 6 games. We won at Wake Forest 31-24. Beat Maryland at home 56-24. Went to UConn, beat them 26-17. Then beat FCS Northwest, the Sharks, at home 55-3. Good win there. 25-17 win over Western Kentucky. And then a 28-21 win over New Mexico State. So the Owls are now ranked 22nd in the nation, their highest ranking ever, and they are a perfect 6-0 at the midway point of the season. You can see there they are, number 22 in the country. Oklahoma is number 1, Clemson number 2. So Kennesaw State with their first ever top 25 ranking in their second season with Hayden Fox at the helm. Taking a look at the Conference USA standings halfway through the season, Kennesaw State 6-0, 3-0, FIU 3-2, 1-0, Jacksonville State 4-1, 1-0, Liberty 3-2, 1-0 as well. Taking a look at what happened after that, New Mexico State another win, 28-21. And then UMass 35-30. So the Owls are 8-0, ranked number 19 in the country. They also beat UTEP 38-14. Could this be the magical season that Kennesaw State wins a national championship? 9-0 after a win over Kent State. 56-7 pounded the Golden Flashes. Number 17 in the nation now. 9-0, perfect 5-0 in the Conference USA action. And they moved up one more time after the next week. 10-0, the Owls, number 14 in the nation, after a 24-7 win at Florida International. 2 games left in the regular season. The Owls are 10-0, ranked number 14 in the nation. Could this be the magical season that the Owls win a national championship while being simulated? Let's see. We'll take a look at the top 25 rankings. There's your 14th ranked Kennesaw State Owls, 10-0. Alabama's number 1 at 9-1. Auburn's number 2 at 9-1. Virginia Tech number 3 at 10-0. Those are the only 3 10-0 teams in the nation. Toledo also 10-0. Got our first 4-star commitment from Cam Anderson, right tackle out of Dublin, Georgia. So things looking up for Hayden Fox and the Owls as the commitments are coming in, the wins are coming in. Look at this, another victory the following week, 41-20 over Jacksonville State, and the Owls are up to number 7 in the nation. Highest ranking in school history, number 7 in the country. One more game left at Liberty. They're ranked number 25 in the country at 8-3. How is that going to play out? Can the Owls finish off an undefeated season? There you can see number 7 in the country, 11-0. They are the only 11-0 team in the country other than Toledo, who is 11-0 as well. Alabama's number 1 at 10-1. So only 2 11-0 teams in the country. Kennesaw State, the Owls are one of them. Coming into the regular season finale, the Owls actually have national championship aspirations. Look at this. Right now, they're predicted to be a number 3 seed and get a bye into the quarterfinals for the National College Football Playoff Tournament. Things looking up for the Owls. Championship game this year in Miami. So the Owls looking to go to Miami to play for the national championship. But they got to win that final game against Liberty. It's going to be a tough one. Let's see, did they do it? They did indeed. A 20-18 win on the road at 8-4 Liberty. The Owls now number 6, their highest ranking ever, finishing off a perfect 12-0 regular season, and they will battle Middle Tennessee State for the Conference USA Championship. The Blue Raiders are 6-6, looking to not give too much competition to the 6th-ranked Owls for the Conference USA Championship. So we'll have to see how that plays out. With a victory, the Owls could make the national playoffs there. They are ranked number 6, 12-0. And it looks like they are the only 12-0 team in the country. Nope, there's Toledo, number 9, right below them. The only 2 undefeated teams in the country. So the Conference USA Championship game is set. Number 6, Kennesaw State, the Owls, taking on the Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders. Blue Raiders are 6-6, looking not to be too much of a challenge for Kennesaw State. Hopefully that'll be the case. There's your final Conference USA standings for the 2025 season. In the East Division, the Owls 12-0, 8-0. Liberty 8-4, 6-2. So that was a big game. Hayden Fox is your Coach of the Year for the 2025 season, leading your Owls to a 12-0 season and a spot in the Conference USA Championship game. So congratulations to Hayden Fox. There's George Smoot. Remember, we just hired him before the season as the offensive coordinator, and he wins the Broyles Award for the Coordinator of the Year. So everything coming together nicely for the Kennesaw State Owls here in season number 2. Best Defensive Player of the Year. I don't even know how to say his name. Durajay, the junior left end, had 18 sacks on the season, and he's your Defensive Player of the Year. He is also the Defensive End of the Year with those 18 sacks, 34 tackles, and 6 tackles for loss. So he definitely one of the pace setters for the Owls. He also won the Lombardi Award. So this is the magical season, hopefully, it's shaping up to be, that the Owls have been looking to get a national championship in their second season. In the Conference USA Championship game, halftime, it's a tough game, much tougher than the Owls expected. Middle Tennessee State with a 7-0 lead at the half. Not too bad. The Owls can come back from that. There's your quarterback, Bryson, once again, tucking and running as he does best. And look at that. The Owls could not get any points in the championship game, and they fall to the heavy underdog, Middle Tennessee State, 16-0. Wow. So the national championship aspirations come crashing down as the Owls were not able to get a point. They went 12-0 in the regular season and then unable to score a single point in the Conference USA Championship game against heavy underdog Middle Tennessee State. They were 6-6 coming in, and the Owls couldn't score a point. So the national championship aspirations come crashing down, and they will have to wait until season 3. Overall, not a bad season. 12-1 on the year, and they're going to go back to the Bahamas Bowl, ranked number 20. See how far they fell from number 6 to number 20, and they'll be taking on the University of Louisiana Monroe Warhawks in the Bahamas Bowl. So let's see how that played out. At halftime, Warhawks have a 10-0 lead. So far, the Owls have not been able to score a point in the postseason after going 12-0 in the regular season. That is not good. George Smoot wins Offensive Coordinator of the Year, and his team has not put up a point so far in the postseason. And they finally got some points up, but it was not enough, and they fall to Louisiana Monroe in the Bahamas Bowl 10-6. So what a disappointing end to the season. 12-0 during the regular season, and then they lose the Conference USA Championship, and then they lose the Bahamas Bowl. So, wow. What a sudden crash end to the season. 12-0 to 12-2, and they only scored 6 points in the postseason. So George Smoot needs to go back to the drawing board with his offense as the Kennesaw State Owls. Still not a bad season. 12-0 to 12-2 in season number 2 in their chase for the national championship. But look at that, George Smoot left. He got hired by Old Dominion, so he was only here for 1 season, got us only 6 points in the postseason, and Old Dominion hired him. So we hired Max Barr as our new offensive coordinator, and as you can see, the defensive coordinator bolted as well. So he obviously looking pretty good on his resume with the 12-2 season. We hired Eric Payne to come in, and you can see his rating is an F. He's the only guy we could get that wanted to come to Kennesaw State. So hopefully we'll get the best out of him, but we have our new coordinators for next season. Once again, the Owls have the 48th best recruiting class in the country. Not too bad, one 4-star guy. So the future is still looking bright for the Owls. So after a disappointing end to Season 2, we move to 2026 and Season 3. Kennesaw State still, they got another bump for Season 3. They're now a 2-star school, 85 overall, 85 offense, 85 defense. Well-rounded team coming into season number 3. So we'll take a look at the mid-season report. We lost to Miami to start the season 35-27. Then we lost to UConn 31-10. Then we lost to UNLV 20-13. So a 5-game losing streak now for the Owls. Finally broken with a 20-16 win over Arizona. Then we lost again to Middle Tennessee State 36-34. And finally another win beating Western Kentucky 38-31. So the Owls 2-4. Not off to a very good start to the season at all. Just terrible. And then let's see. Then we're going to UMass next. Hopefully we can get a win there, but very disappointing after such a successful season in season number 2. Conference USA standings right now. The East Division shows Kennesaw State at 2-4, 1-2. They are at the bottom of the East Division. Still time to come back. UConn, though, 5-1 in conference play, so they're looking very strong here in season number 3. What a disastrous turn of events after a 12-0 regular season in the 2025 year. So taking a look at what happened the rest of the way, not good. Not good. We did beat UMass 32-3. Then we went to Syracuse and lost that one 24-19. The Owls did beat Florida International. No, I'm sorry, they lost that game. No, they won that game. Oh, good Lord. 31-10 of a ranked Panther team. They were 10-3. Then we lost to UTEP 30-16, lost to Jacksonville State 42-21, and beat Liberty to end the regular season 31-14. But the Owls are 5-7 on the season. That is not good enough for a Conference USA championship bid or a bowl bid. So what a disastrous follow-up to a 12-0 regular season in Season 2. Season 3, 5-7 in the regular season. Take a look at the Conference USA standings. Kennesaw State, 5-7, 4-4 in conference play, so not too bad. But Florida International wins the Eastern Division, and they will play for the Conference USA Championship. So big fall from grace there for the Owls from Season 2 to Season 3. Not good, not good at all. 5-game losing streak to end last season and start this season. So the Owls still a 2-star school though, so a little bit of improvement, but got to turn things around or Hayden Fox might find himself on the hot seat. Here's a highlight from the regular season finale since there is no bowl game action this season. There's a touchdown pass and Kennesaw State is on the board with a lead over Liberty, which they did win that game to end the regular season on a high note, taking a 9-7 lead there late in the first half. But that was their bowl game. That was the Kennesaw State Owls bowl game for Season 3, since they did not qualify for a bowl game. That was not a good season at all. Some more highlights here. Kennesaw State with a 10-7 lead at the half. at home against Liberty in the regular season finale. And then let's see, look at all the time he has to pass. Part of the problem for the Owls defense this season, not being able to get to the quarterback. There's an offensive highlight. Complete over the middle. Big gainer for the Owls as they win the regular season finale against Liberty 31-14 to cap off a very disappointing season. Expectations were so high coming into this one, and they fell far short of what they wanted to do. 12-0 in the regular season last year, losing the final two and then losing the first three of this season, set up for not a good year. 5-7 on the season for the Owls. They will have to look forward to season 4, and hopefully they'll be able to do better. Because this season, you can say that it was a bust. Finishing the year 5-7, not good at all. Overall, in recruiting, Owls moved up to the number 33 class in the country, so still improving, but a long way to go. So we move on to Season 4, 2027, in Kennesaw State's quest for a national championship. We are a 2-star school now, 86 overall, 86 offense, 87 defense. So not too bad coming into season number 4 with Hayden Fox. And your mid-season report shows that, well, the Owls are 2-4. We beat Toledo 17-10, lost at Illinois 31-27, beat James Madison 17-9, lost at Georgia Tech 27-6, then lost at UTEP 17-14. That was a close game. They ranked number 11, and we lost at UConn 17-13. So not a good start for the 2-4 Kennesaw State Owls, 0-2 in Conference USA play. Hopefully the second half of the season will see a turnaround. And let's take a look at the 2-4 conference standings for week 7. The Owls are 2-4, 0-2 in conference play. Last place in the East Division. Jacksonville State and Liberty both 5-0. UTEP 6-0 over in the West Division. Can the Owls turn it around in the second half of Season 4, the 2027 season? Let's see. Not looking good so far, as things taking a turn for the worst here for the Owls. And they finished the season at 4-8. After the loss to UConn, we lost to UMass 23-20. Then we got a win finally, 38-24 at home against Sam Houston. They are 6-6. Then we went to Middle Tennessee State, lost to the Blue Raiders 33-14. And then lost at home to Jacksonville State 20-14. Not a good year at all for the Owls. 4-8 overall, 2-6 in Conference USA play. That is not conducive for a bowl game appearance. We then lost at Florida International. Tough game, 36-35. And we did win the final game of the season, 20-13 at 10-2 Liberty. So a little bit of an upset. That was the bowl game for Kennesaw State for the season, as the Liberty came in 10-1 and were heavily favored over the Owls in that final game of the regular season. And the Owls came in and pulled off the upset, and that could have put a major hurting on the Liberty Flames in their postseason playoff hopes. We'll have to see how that turns out. They still may play for the Conference USA Championship, but that could have screwed them out of that too. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But a good 20-13 win ends the season on a high note for the Owls in a season that was otherwise not very good, 4-8 overall. Take a look at the final conference standings, and it did not hurt Liberty. They finished 10-2, 6-2 in the East Division, they'll take on UTEP for the Conference USA Championship. UTEP 11-1, 7-1. Very good season for them. The Owls finished 4-8, 2-6 in Conference USA play. Dead last in the Eastern Division. So not very good for the Owls as they continue their quest to be simulated into a national champion. We'll have to take a look at what that did to recruiting. Hayden Fox, though, did get a contract extension, a new 5-year deal. Overall, he's done fairly well here at Kennesaw State. The university agrees, and they re-up him for 5 more years. 44th was the recruiting class this season for the Owls, so not too bad. A couple of 4-star guys to bring in, so the future's still looking bright here in Kennesaw. So we move ahead to Season 5, the 2028 season for the Kennesaw State Owls, trying to get that national championship. We are now still a 2-star school, 87 overall this year, 86 offense, 89 defense. So the defense has been upgraded as we move into Season 5. We got our first 5-star commitment, wide receiver Neil Swenson from Woodbridge, Virginia. Welcome to the Owls. First 5-star recruit for the Owls, and Hayden Fox, hopefully the first of many. Your midseason report shows, well, not much has changed. Owls are 2-4. Overall, 1-1 in the Conference USA. Got beat pretty badly at home against Tennessee, 56-39. Lost at LSU, 23-13. Did beat Temple at home, 31-24. Lost at home to USC, 23-10. Lost at Louisiana Tech, 27-3. And a home game victory over Sam Houston, 48-36. Not a bad game at LSU. They were 6-0, only a 10-point loss. So not too bad, showing a little bit of promise, but still 2-4 overall. 1-1 in the Eastern Division. Thankfully, UConn is 0-5 and 0-3 in Conference USA play. So Kennesaw State not in last place in the East Division. Not yet, anyway. Liberty's 2-3 overall. FIU 4-2 and 2-0. UMass 4-1, 2-0. They look to be the pride of the Eastern Division as of the halfway point here in the 2028 season. Take a look at the full schedule report, full season report. 4-8 overall is where the Owls finished. 3-5 in Conference USA play. So they went to UMass, lost 31-28 to start the second half of the season. At home, they got another win over Liberty, 38-20. Another home game against Florida International. They got the victory there, 28-17. Then they went to UTEP and played number 11, the Miners, and lost a tough one, 32-24. Went to Jacksonville State, lost 35-21. And then at home, lost to UConn 20-12. So the season wasn't really that bad, but they lost their final 3 games, and that turned what could have been a winning season. They were 4-5 at the time, then dropped those final 3 games. So a bowl game not in the cards for the Owls this season. 3-5 in Conference USA play, 4-8 overall. Just another down season for Kennesaw State, but they played tough against some very good opponents. Tough loss to LSU, tough loss to UTEP. Both of those games could have been won with a break here or there. So things still looking up for Kennesaw State. They did end up finishing in last place, though, once again in the Eastern Division of the Conference USA. 4-8 overall, 3-5 in conference play. Jacksonville State just got the nod over them for 5th place with a better overall record. UMass won the division, 8-4 overall, 6-2 in the conference. Louisiana Tech won the Western Division, 9-3, 5-3. They tied with UTEP, who had the same record, but La Tech beat them in the regular season, and they got the nod to play for the Conference USA Championship. Here's a look at the final regular season game against UConn. It was a home game, And as we said, it was a disappointing third consecutive loss for the Owls in a game that they should have won. And the final score, 20-12, UConn. 10-point third quarter was the undoing for Kennesaw State. But again, it was another winnable game that the Owls were just not able to put away. But to become a winner, you have to go through some growing pains. 5 seasons now of growing pains. This is 2 in a row without a bowl game. So things, I don't know, they may be looking up if you look at the results of some of the games, but if you look at the overall record, maybe they're not looking up after all. Hayden Fox still has a lot of work to do here in Kennesaw to turn the Owls into a playoff contender, let alone a national championship contender. Kennesaw State was in this game for a while, and we did fire our offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator. We fired them both because things just not going as Hayden Fox wants them to go. So he's looking to refix his staff. He brings in Donovan Harper and Braden Arnault to try and turn things around here in Kennesaw. So Arnault has a D+ rating, but Hayden has a good feeling about him. And I guess we didn't get the defensive coordinator. Braden Arnault is locked in with his D+ rating. That's all Hayden could bring in. And Josh Gilliam comes in to become the defensive coordinator. He's a D-. He's even worse than Arnault. So Hayden Fox looking to get the best out of them as he changes his staff on the never-ending quest to turn Kennesaw State into a national championship. Recruiting wasn't bad. 29th best class this year, best they've ever done. 1 5-star guy, 2 4-star guys, along with 23-star guys. So Hayden Fox still working to turn Kennesaw State into a national champion. So Hayden Fox takes the troops into Season 6, 2029. And the Owls are, well, they took a hit. They're now a 1.5-star school. Despite improvements across the board, 87 overall, 86 offense, 89 defense, their prestige still took a hit. They are now 1.5 stars. That's not going to help recruiting. Midseason report, not too bad for the Owls. 4-2 overall, 1-1 in Conference USA. They won at 10th ranked UCF on the road, 25-21. They beat Old Dominion 20-17. They beat Houston 30-27, 3-0 start, pretty good. Then they lost, pretty good game at Tennessee, 31-17, lost to the 9th ranked team in the nation. Then they beat New Mexico State and lost to UMass. That was a pretty bad loss to UMass because that kind of big setback. UMass 6-1, 2-1 in the conference, so it was a quality opponent, but it could have made a 5-1 first half for the Owls. Instead, they're 4-2, not too bad. 1-1 in conference play. They're still only 1 game out of the division lead in the Eastern Division in Conference USA. Liberty's 2-4 overall, 2-0. UMass 6-1, 2-1. Jacksonville State 4-2, 1-1. So good race in the East Division. And take a look at the final. After 10 games, 8-2. So Kennesaw State starting to turn it around. After the loss to UMass, they beat Liberty, and they now stand at 8-2. They are ranked in the top 25, number 22 in the nation with that 8-2 record. And they are now in first place in the East Division, 8-2 overall, 5-1 in Conference USA play, tied with Liberty in conference play record, but Kennesaw State gets the nod right now with the better overall record. They're going to meet in just a couple of weeks, so we'll see how that goes. It's going to be pretty good. But right now, with that 8-2 record and number 22 ranking, there's your Kennesaw State Owls. They are projected to not only make the college football playoff this year, but to be a number 4 seed with a first round bye into the quarterfinals. So hopefully that can keep going. We'll have to see. 10 games into the season. Still have 2 more to go. So we will have to see how Kennesaw State makes out over those final 2 games. Well, they didn't go well. Both of them were losses. So we beat New Mexico State, who is ranked. Beat them 38-6. That's a pretty decisive win over a ranked opponent. Then lost to UMass 35-20. At Liberty, another win. Liberty's ranked number 18 this year, 41-39. Owls pulled that one out. They beat Jacksonville State 34-26. They went to Florida International and won 36-17. Then they beat La Tech on the road 26-21. The Owls were 8-2 at that point, as we saw. And then they lost at home to UTEP 28-23. Minor's not a bad team. And then they went to UConn and lost a heartbreaker 28-27. That really hurt. UConn is only 5-7 on the season. And Kennesaw State, though, not too bad. 8-4 on the regular season. 5-3 in Conference USA play, but that's only good for second place in the division, and Kennesaw State will not make the Conference USA championship game. But the 8-4 record, that should put them in a bowl game. So we'll have to see how things shake out with the committees and the voters. Your Owls did not finish the regular season in the top 25, and there you go. 8-4 overall, 5-3 in the East Division. They fell 2 games behind Liberty, but they finished second place. So things still looking up for the Owls. Second place finish is the best they've done so far in the East Division of Conference USA. And we did get a Bahamas Bowl invite. The Kennesaw State Owls will be taking on the Marshall Thundering Herd in their first bowl game. Is it their first bowl game? I don't remember. I don't think it is. Either way, this year they're playing in the Bahamas Bowl against Marshall, and look at that. The Owls have a 17-3 lead at the half. Very solid half of football for the Owls, who looks like they're starting to turn their program around. Here's Marshall. Look at the time he's buying. Defense can't get to him. And look at that. Nice completion down the road there. And Kennesaw State finishes off the 34-3 thrashing of the Marshall Thundering Herd in the Bahamas Bowl. So Kennesaw State finishes the regular season 9-4. Dante Dragos, 17 carries for 161 yards, 2 touchdowns to lead Kennesaw State to a big win over Marshall in the Bahamas Bowl. So Hayden Fox with a successful year. Hopefully the losing seasons are behind us now. And Kennesaw State looking to have a good year in recruiting as well and to move forward to another bowl game next season. This one was all Kennesaw State as they win the Bahamas Bowl and finish a successful 9-4 season with Hayden Fox at the helm, looking to continue turning Kennesaw State into a winning squad. Recruiting class number 27 overall, 1 5-star guy, 3 4-star guys, 15 3-star guys, and things continue to move forward for Hayden Fox and the Kennesaw State Owls. Moving on to Season 7 with Hayden Fox and the Kennesaw State Owls. The year is now 2030, and look at this. The Owls got a nice bump there, now a 2.5-star school, 88 overall, 87 offense, 89 defense. So the recruiting is definitely starting to pay off. And we got our first 5-star quarterback commit from Sergio DeMarco out of Mesa, Arizona. Welcome to Kennesaw State, Sergio, and we have a lot of big plans for you. Hopefully he'll be the one to lead us to the promised land. Mid-season report, Owls are 4-2, not bad, 1-1 in Conference USA play. Lost a tough game at 8th-ranked Utah, 41-38. That was a tough one. Beat Kansas State on the road. They're ranked. Beat them 45-35. Came home, beat Nevada 30-22. And then beat Cincinnati 53-51. What a wild one there. Went on the road, lost to Western Kentucky. That hurt, 27-7. And then came back home and beat New Mexico State 31-13. So not too bad. 4-2 overall. One loss that should not have been. Things starting to look up for the Owls. So 1-1 in conference play. And look at this. They are once again projected to be in the college football playoffs. Haven't made it there yet, but they're looking at a number 4 seed right now, according to the experts, and a quarterfinal appearance. Take a look at the final regular season report. 9-3, pretty good year. Ranked number 13 in the nation. They beat New Mexico State 31-13 in the second half of the year. Beat UMass 35-25 on the road. Came home, shut out Liberty 27-0. Beat Jacksonville State on the road 27-17. Then came home, tough one, but they got the win over Florida International 31-28. Had a bye week before wrapping up the season with the final two games, and one at UTEP 20-19, and then again disappointing loss at UConn, but at least Huskies are a good team this year. Lost that one 21-15. Huskies 10-2, ranked number 11 in the nation, so pretty good matchup there. The Owls now ranked number 13, so the loss didn't hurt that much, although it may have cost them a shot at the conference championship, as the Owls are 6-2 in conference play. Ranked number 13 in the nation at 9-3, highest ranking so far. And let's see, yep, they lost the tiebreaker in the East Division to UConn. 9-3, 6-2 in conference play. UConn 10-2, 6-2 in conference play. But UConn beat Kennesaw State in that head-to-head matchup, so they will play Sam Houston for the Conference USA Championship. Kennesaw State, though, not a bad season. They get to go to the New Mexico Bowl to take on the Lobos, the 13th ranked Owls, looking for their second consecutive bowl victory. And with Hayden Fox at the helm, first half didn't really go the way Kennesaw State wanted to, trailing at the half 17-14. Though the game's not out of hand. It's not lost as of yet. You can see, though, look at all the time he's got to pass. Defense just could not get to him. Wow. Busted coverage there. He is wide open. And Kennesaw State's defense needs to step it up in the second half if they're going to pull out a victory here in the New Mexico Bowl. And they did. 42-31. What a big second half for the Owls. A 42-31 win in the New Mexico Bowl over New Mexico. Very good comeback for the Owls. James Cox had 9 catches, freshman receiver, 196 yards, 2 touchdowns. What a comeback in the second half for the Owls to finish off what could arguably be their best season ever. Take a look at some of the highlights from the New Mexico Bowl there. Kennesaw State with the victory. Big second half. 14-14 to finish it off after the first quarter. 42-31, they take the New Mexico Bowl victory. And that's going to be big for recruiting as well as for maybe the voters. We'll have to see what the final rankings are. And there you go, 13th ranked, 10-3. Pretty good season for the Kennesaw State Owls. 10-3 overall, ranked number 13 in the nation. And we'll have to check out how that helped recruiting, if it did at all. And there you go, number 14 recruiting class in the country. 3 5-star guys, 5 4-star guys. So the recruiting is getting better every single year. Kennesaw State and Hayden Fox are on the right path. So that brings us to Season 8. The year is 2031. Hayden Fox and the Kennesaw State Owls. 3-star school now. Prestige took a nice raise there. 3-star school, 87 overall, 89 offense, 87 defense. The Owls now predicted to finish second in the Conference USA East Division. And things looking up after last season's dominating bowl win. Mid-season report, though, well, not so good. 3-3. Lost at Florida 24-16, lost to Louisville 27-14, lost to South Carolina 35-30, so 0-3 start. But then they turned it around with a win at home against UCF 31-28, beat Middle Tennessee State 27-23, and then pounded Western Kentucky on the road 52-7. So we're on a 3-game winning streak despite the fact that they lost the first 3 games of the season. Taking a look at the conference standings, Kennesaw State 3-3, 2-0 in conference play. That's important. And they are now tied with UMass and Florida International. Panthers and Minutemen, both 4-2 overall, 2-0 in the Conference USA play. Now, moving to the end of the regular season, well, things didn't go as we had hoped. Not too bad though, 7-5 overall, 6-2 in Conference USA play, but only good for a second place finish in the division. In the second half, we beat UMass 24-17. Then at Liberty pounded them 44-0. Second consecutive shutout over Liberty. Then we beat Jacksonville State 23-17. And we won at Florida International 27-24. After a bye week, we came home and lost a heartbreaker to UTEP 16-14. That one really hurt because next week we went on the road and beat UConn 28-21 to finish the regular season 7-5. Could have been 8-6. Another one or two games could have gone our way with a break here or there, but 7-5 is not too bad overall. 6-2 in conference play. That's important, but still only good enough for a second place finish in the Conference USA Eastern Division. So once again, Kennesaw State will not play for the Conference USA Championship. But look at that loss there. That's a brutal loss to UTEP at home, 16-14. They're not a bad team, but that game was definitely winnable, as was the Florida International game. They're a good team, and that was a 3-point loss. A couple of breaks, the Owls could have a 10-win season, but not in the cards this year. 7-5, not ranked in the top 25. 6-2 in Conference USA play. They finished one game behind Florida International for the Eastern Division Championship. That shows you how important that game was. Panthers 9-3 overall, 7-1 in Conference USA play. So they will play Middle Tennessee State for the Conference USA Championship, but the 7-5 record should get the Owls into a bowl game. And let's see what we have here. We have Allen Holiday, sophomore wide receiver, is the receiver of the year. First award winner for the Owls. He had 1,018 yards receiving, 14 touchdowns on 57 catches. So some hardware coming to Kennesaw. And they once again will go to the New Mexico Bowl this year. They'll face 19th ranked Fresno State. The Bulldogs looking to end Kennesaw State's bowl winning streak. And the Owls got the win. Kennesaw State wins the New Mexico Bowl over Fresno State. Second consecutive New Mexico Bowl victory for the Owls. That puts a capper on a solid season, 8-5 finish. We hired a new offensive coordinator, Emmanuel Woodhead. And Josh Gilliam's still the defensive coordinator. You can see he's improved a little bit. He's a C+ now. And recruiting, 19th ranked class in the country for the Owls. 1 5-star guys, 7 4-star guys, 14 3-star guys. But you can see 7 4-star guys, the recruiting is getting better every year. So we move on to season 9. The year is 2032. And you can see right here, despite the winning record last year, the Owls took a hit in their school prestige. They are now 2.5 down from 3. 88 overall, 87 offense, 89 defense, predicted once again to finish second place in the Eastern Division. Let's take a look at the mid-season report. Look at this. The Owls are 6-0. They beat West Virginia 31-13, beat Buffalo 29-24, beat Georgia Southern 26-21, beat FCS Midwest, the Foxes, 42-3, won at Sam Houston 28-20, and beat Middle Tennessee State at home 23-7. So the Owls ranked number 23 in the nation, a perfect 6-0 on the year, 2-0 in Conference USA play. Could this be the magical season that we've been chasing with Hayden Fox? The Owls ranked number 23, 6-0. Georgia's number 1. They are 6-0. Taking a look at the Conference USA standings midway through the season, the Owls 6-0, 2-0. They have a 1-game lead in the division over UConn and UMass. So let's take a look at what happened further into the season. Your final full season report, 10-2. Not too bad. 6-2 In Conference USA play, Owls are ranked number 22 right now. Let's see, we beat UMass 31-23. Then the undefeated season came to a crashing halt against Liberty, a team that we shut out the last 2 years in a row. 3-point loss, 31-28. That hurt. They went to Jacksonville State, beat them 41-20. Beat Florida International at home 20-16. Then beat UTEP 28-17. So the Owls were 10-1. They were looking good. And then once again, UConn spoils the party. Final game of the regular season. It was a home game, and we lost a heartbreaker 20-13. But overall, not a bad year. The Owls number 22 in the nation, 10-2 overall, 6-2 in Conference USA play. But once again, is it good enough? Because that loss to UConn really hurt. We'll have to take a look at the Conference USA standings to see if the Owls will qualify for the Conference USA championship game. I don't know. It's going to be tough. Here are your top 25 rankings, and there are your Kennesaw State Owls 10-2, number 22 in the nation. And that loss to UConn, look at how devastating that was. UConn, by virtue of that head-to-head victory, wins the Conference USA East Division. They get the tiebreaker due to the head-to-head win. That hurts. But Kennesaw State feels that Hayden Fox has the team headed in the right direction. Look at that, 3 bowl games in the last 4 years. So Hayden gets a brand new, shiny 5-year contract, and he will stay here with Kennesaw State. As the athletic director feels he is doing a good job. His recruiting has definitely improved, and the school is getting better players to come in, and hopefully we'll get that national championship before too long. Another New Mexico Bowl here for the Owls, who are ranked number 19. They're going to take on 24th ranked Nevada, the Wolfpack, so it should be a very competitive game in the New Mexico Bowl. Let's take a look at how things went. Halftime came, and it was a tight game as we expected. 7-7 ball game. There's a nice pass for the touchdown there for the Kennesaw State score, and there's the Nevada score. Final score 35-28. Nevada pulls it out at the end. What a heartbreaking loss for the Owls. Wow, what a devastating end to what was otherwise a pretty good season. Losing on the final drive of the game. And here's a couple of highlights from the game. So it was a good game. Lots of offense. But unfortunately for the Owls, not enough defense. So Nevada gets the win in the New Mexico Bowl, ending the Owls' 2-game winning streak in that bowl. And it was, as you can see, back and forth in Nevada. 21 points in the fourth quarter to pull that one out. We fired our defensive coordinator after that. We also hired Gabe McBriar as the new offensive coordinator, but the defensive coordinator just could not stay. That was unacceptable, that collapse in the fourth quarter, so we hired Keegan Jr. to come in to be the new defensive coordinator. He and Gabe McBriar will lead the Owls into the future and hopefully get that national championship we are chasing. Take a look at the final recruiting class. Number 10 in the nation, so pretty good. The Owls continue to improve their recruiting. 2 5-star guys, 8 4-star guys. So the improvement continues. So we move on to season 10. The year is 2033. Things looking up for Kennesaw State after the successful year this year, and it shows in the prestige. We got another bump. 3-star school now, ranked 24th in the preseason poll. First time that's happened for the Owls. 88 overall, 87 offense, 89 defense. Let's take a look at the midseason report. Owls off to another good start, 5-1. They beat BYU 29-7, beat Georgia Southern 21-13, won at Air Force 38-12, so good 3-0 start. Then we lost at home to Kent State, 21-13, tough game there, but rebounded the next week to beat La Tech 48-31 and Sam Houston 34-11. So the Owls off to a 5-1 start, 2-0 in Conference USA play. Pretty good start to the season. We'll have to see how the second half goes. If it goes anywhere near what the first half did, we'll be in business. Could this be the magical year for the Kennesaw State Owls? Number 2 in Conference USA's East Division, 5-1, 2-0, tied with UConn, half game ahead of UMass. UConn proving to be a bitter rival of the Owls for that Eastern Division championship. So let's take a look and see how the second half went. After a 5-1 start in the first half of the year, the Owls have national championship aspirations. And there you go. Other people, some of the experts, they agree. Right now, Kennesaw State projected to be a number 10 seed in the college football playoff. They've never gotten there. They've been projected many times, but have not yet been able to take that step. Look at this final regular season report. The Owls finished off in 11-1 season, undefeated in Conference USA play, 8-0, and they are currently ranked number 11 in the nation. Second half of the season saw victories over UMass, 44-42. That was a tough one against a team that should have not been as difficult as it was. Beat Liberty 21-14. Beat Jacksonville State 38-31. They defeated Florida International 52-27. They beat the Miners 35-14, and a good solid almost a heartbreaking loss, but they pulled out the win at UConn 35-29. So the Owls are ranked number 11 in the nation, 11-1 overall, 8-0 in Conference USA play, so they will play for the Conference USA Championship this year. And you can see right now, 11-1, 11th in the nation. Penn State number 1 at 10-0. Kennesaw State wins the Eastern Division Championship in Conference USA this year, 11-1 overall, 8-0 in conference play. UConn a distant second place, 5-6, 4-4. So 4-game cushion for the Owls as they win the Eastern Division, and they will play for the Conference USA Championship against Middle Tennessee State, the Blue Raiders. They are ranked number 24. Kennesaw State is ranked number 7 now after the final regular season poll. So the Owls and the Blue Raiders, it's a ranked matchup for the Conference USA Championship, and things did not go well in the first half. The game was at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, and the Blue Raiders have a 17-3 lead at the half. Kennesaw State's defense choosing not to show up in the first half here. Hopefully they can turn it around and win their first ever Conference USA Championship. There's a nice run right there to get the offense moving. And there's your final score. The Owls were not able to come back. Middle Tennessee takes the Conference USA Championship 26-10. Very disappointing loss to a team that the Owls should have beat. And I say they should have beat them easily. But they did not. Defense didn't show up, and Middle Tennessee State wins the Conference USA Championship. Kennesaw State, though, continuing to improve. They got there this year, and hopefully it's the first of many to come. There's the Blue Raiders celebrating with the Conference USA trophy. Kennesaw State didn't like that. The Owls didn't take too well to watching the celebration and not being able to take part. You can see the Owls just did not get any offense going at all. So by virtue of that loss, they go to the Bahamas Bowl, which is still a bowl game. The Owls weren't in bowl games just a few years ago. Now they're ranked number 12 in the nation. With the loss, they will be taking on Troy in the Bahamas Bowl this year. And the offense got off to a pretty good start. The Owls have a halftime lead of 21-13 over Troy. And the Trojans hanging tough. They're unranked coming in. The Owls heavily favored in this one. There's a nice pass for a touchdown right there, right down the middle of the field. And Kennesaw State's offense was clicking. Defense was playing pretty good. There's another play right there. That's going to be another touchdown for the Owls. And they do indeed pull out the victory. 34-20. Kennesaw State gets the bowl win in the Bahamas Bowl. 34-20 over Troy. Solid victory for the Owls Alan Holiday, who was receiver of the year a few seasons ago, 6 catches, 218 yards, and 4 touchdowns to lead the Owls to victory. There's one of them right there. Solid performance by both the offense and defense in the Bahamas Bowl, but that's not what the Owls want. They have higher aspirations, but the team continues to improve. The program continues to bring in better recruits, and winning bowl games does not hurt that at all. Kennesaw State got off to a 14-3 lead in the first quarter there and did not look back as they win the Bahamas Bowl over Troy. Now we'll take a look at what happened recruiting-wise this year for the Owls. They've been doing much, much better every year, and this year no different. 12th ranked recruiting class in the country. No 5-star recruits this year, but we did bring in 11 4-star guys. Very solid year as Hayden Fox continues to stockpile the talent. So Hayden Fox and the Owls move on to season 11, 2034 season. Still a 3-star school, and the preseason polls have the Owls ranked number 15 in the nation, 89 overall, 89 offense, 89 defense. Solid across the board for the Owls. The preseason poll has them number 15 in the country, so big hype surrounding the Owls this season. Mid-season report shows them at number 15 still, but their record is 4-2. Lost to Eastern Michigan 35-31, lost at USC 27-11. Not a good start to the season, but they haven't lost since. They beat Nebraska 24-18, beat New Mexico State 32-13, beat Charlotte at home 26-24 in a game that was closer than it should have been, and a 31-28 win on the road at Sam Houston. So the 3-star school ranked number 15 in the nation lost their first 2 games of the year and then turned it around. So they're 4-2 and 2-0 in Conference USA play. So at the halfway point of the season, the Owls are still in contention, 4-2 overall, 15th in the nation, and they are in contention for the Conference USA Eastern Division Championship. They are in the lead right now, 4-2, 2-0. Jack State 4-2, 1-1. Liberty 3-2, 1-1 as well. Rutgers and UMass also 1-1. So still a long way to go in the Eastern Division to see who will play for the Conference USA Championship. Western Kentucky over in the West Division 4-2, 3-0. They are looking like to be the pride of the West Division as of right now. Still 6 games to go in the regular season. And as you can see, the Owls moved up to number 12 in the rankings and finished the regular season 9-3, 7-1 in Conference USA play. They will play for the Conference USA Championship once again. Second half of the year saw them beat UMass 52-31. They beat Liberty at home 38-17. They went to Jacksonville State, got the win 27-19 there. They came home and pounded the Florida International Panthers 41-15. Panthers 2-10 on the season. They visited Rutgers in their first year in Conference USA, and it was a devastating loss, 35-29. And then they beat UConn at home 31-17. After a week off, they beat they're going to play UTEP, for the Conference USA Championship. That Rutgers loss, that was devastating, but still 9-3 on the year, 7-1 in Conference USA play. That Rutgers loss, the only loss in a 7-1 conference season. So not bad for the Owls at all. They rank number 12 in the nation. Penn State's number 1 at 10-1. Florida number 2 at 11-1. Taking a look at the Conference USA standings, there you are, your Eastern Division champions once again, Kennesaw State, 9-3 overall, 7-1 in conference play. Rutgers finished 8-4, 6-2, so that was almost an even more devastating loss. But Kennesaw State able to hold off the Scarlet Knights. UTEP wins the Western Division 8-4, 6-2 overall. So those two teams will meet for the Conference USA Championship. The Owls are ranked number 12 UTEP not ranked at all. So the Owls are heavily favored coming in to this year's Conference USA Championship. And it was a tough game, as you would expect for the Conference Championship. But at halftime, the Owls and the Miners tied at 10-10. So the Owls defense playing well. The offense needs to pick it up in the second half if they want to win their first ever Conference USA Championship. Nice gun right there for a score. And that's it. The Owls do it. The Owls pull it off 34-31 for their first ever Conference USA Championship in the Hayden Fox era. It's their first ever Conference USA Championship ever, period, in any era. And Hayden Fox is the one to get it done. 4 catches, 203 yards for your MVP of the game. There he is right there, one of those catches. And the Owls able to hold off the Miners to win their first Conference USA Championship game. Thanks to an EA Sports update, the Conference USA trophy no longer appears in the game. Thanks, EA. Love that. So the Owls celebrate in front of an empty table. And that's always nice when that happens. 34-31, the Owls get the win. 17 points in the fourth quarter. They pulled it out and improved to 10-3 on the year. Miners are 8-5. So the Kennesaw State Owls are the Conference USA champions for the first time in their school's history, and they will move forward, hopefully hoping for a spot in the national championship. And there it is. They got it. They're going to play in the Orange Bowl against Syracuse, their first ever national playoff game. Kennesaw State number 12, Syracuse 18. Kennesaw State will be the home game in the Orange Bowl there. Syracuse beat Arkansas in an upset in the first round. Kennesaw State is the number 4 seed, the Orange, the number 12 seed at 11-3. And things did not go very well in the first half in the Owls' first ever appearance in the national playoffs. Halftime, 21-7. Syracuse has the lead, and you can see right there, they were picking apart the Owls' secondary. Can Kennesaw State make a comeback in the second half and move on? Well, they will not. They got pounded by heavy underdog Syracuse, 36-10. Syracuse, though, they pulled off the upset the previous week against Arkansas, so not really that big of a surprise, but definitely a disappointment for the Owls in their first ever appearance in the national playoffs. But they made it. Hopefully there's more on the way. The offense didn't perform that badly, but the defense did, and Syracuse just picked apart that secondary of Kennesaw State. But the Owls make it to the Orange Bowl, their first ever national championship appearance. Syracuse wins the Orange Bowl. They move on. Kennesaw State goes home, but with their first ever appearance in the national championship, Kennesaw State's chase for the national championship continues, and it seems to be improving every year. 36-10 loss, but they finished the year 10-4. Pretty solid year. 19th best recruiting class in the country. No 5-star recruits, but 11 4-star guys. So once again, recruiting continues to improve, and the Kennesaw State Owls have a very bright future. So the quest continues on to season 12. The year is 2035. Hayden Fox still trying to lead the Kennesaw State Owls to a national championship. 3-star school now, 18th in the preseason poll. The Owls are a 90 overall, 90 offense, 91 defense. Drastic improvement over what Hayden Fox started with, but still no national championship. Mid-season report, the Owls are 4-2. They lost a tough one at home against the Texas Longhorns, 35-31. Then they beat Ohio State, 34-31. Big signature win for the program there. Lost to Mississippi State, 30-21. That one really hurt. Then they beat Oklahoma State, 42-36. They beat Sam Houston, 45-21. And they beat UTEP, 42-35. So the first half of the season is over. 4-2 overall, 2-0 in Conference USA. Pretty good first half, considering the level of victories they got. The Owls are 4-2 overall, 2-0 in the Big East. In the Big East. In the East Division of Conference USA, they are in the race for the Eastern Division Championship with UConn, Jacksonville State, Liberty, Rutgers, and UMass. Everybody pretty much in the division. And the second half of the season went well for the Owls. They clinch a spot in the Conference USA Championship game against Louisiana Tech. The Owls are ranked number 7 in the nation. The Bulldogs number 24. Taking a look at how the second half of the year went. Let's see, they beat UTEP 42-35. They beat UMass 41-12. Big win there. The Owls beat Liberty 38-14. Then beat ranked Jacksonville State 34-9. That was a big win over the Gamecocks there. Then the Owls went to Florida International and beat them 21-10 to continue the winning streak. Then they finish up the home schedule with a 24-12 win over 12th ranked Rutgers. That's a big win right there. And they ended the season with a win at UConn 27-21 over the 9-3 Huskies. So the Owls 10-2, winners of 8 straight, and they are ranked number 7 in the nation. Perfect 8-0 in Conference USA play, so they will play for the Conference USA Championship again, and they're going to take on La Tech. They are 9-3, and they stand in the way of Kennesaw State repeating as Conference USA champions. 16-0 in their last 16 conference games. The Owls are ranked number 7 in the nation at 10-2. Penn State's number 1 at 12-0. There are your final Conference USA standings. East Division champions Kennesaw State 10-2, 8-0. That win over Rutgers was huge. And Louisiana Tech, they are 9-3. They are the West Division champions. They are 6-2. It was a good game with the conference championship on the line. Halftime, the Owls held a slim 14-13 lead. They were favored over Louisiana Tech coming in, but the underdogs had big aspirations. They put up a good fight. That was a nice play right there. Long touchdown run pass for the Owls right there. And they held a 1-point lead at the break. Were they able to hold that for the end of the game? They did not. Louisiana Tech made a strong second half comeback and put a 32-24 victory on the board. Louisiana Tech is your Conference USA champions, ending the short reign by the Owls. Defense just did not get it done. Offense was pretty good. You can see here's one of the long touchdown plays that the Owls put together in the Conference USA Championship game, but the defense did not get it done. There's one example of it right there, and La Tech gets to celebrate in front of the empty table as the Conference USA champions for this season. Disappointing end for what otherwise was a pretty good year for the Owls. Kennesaw State should get a bowl game, though, because they're 10-3 on the year. That's their first conference loss, and of course it comes in the conference championship, so that's not good. They did get a Bahamas Bowl bid, and they will take on number 23 Old Dominion. The Owls fall to number 11 in the overall rankings, and the Monarchs are number 23. So Kennesaw State comes into the Bahamas Bowl. They're a favorite in Bahamas Bowl. Lots of fans down there. They've seen Kennesaw State play in the bowl game so many times. They're big fans of the school. And at halftime, you can see the Owls with a slim lead, but still the lead nonetheless. And there's a nice pass over the middle that got in for a touchdown right there. And Kennesaw State did hold on. It was tough, but they held on for a 28-20 win in the Bahamas Bowl over Old Dominion. 251 passing yards for Eric Kenyon, the senior quarterback, 3 touchdowns. He led the way for the Owls to become the Bahamas Bowl champions. Once again, one of many in the Owls trophy case. Bahamas Bowl trophies, that is. But Old Dominion made it tough. They're a ranked team, so they weren't going to go down easily, and they did not. But Kennesaw State celebrates a Bahamas Bowl victory. Not the victory they wanted, but they get the 28-20 win. They finish the season 11-3. Not a bad season, but not the national championship that they have been chasing. Bahamas Bowl is the consolation prize this season, as in many others, for the Kennesaw State Owls this year. We'll take a look at the recruiting, what it did for the recruiting class, and look at this. The Kennesaw State Owls had the #1 recruiting class in the country. 6 5-star players, 3 4-star players. The future's looking pretty bright as Kennesaw State continues their chase for a national championship. That bright future continues in season 13. The year is now 2036. The Owls program gets a bump up. They are now 3.5 stars prestige, 90 overall, 90 offense, 91 defense. They are ranked number 15 in the preseason poll. Let's take a look at your mid-season report. And the Owls, well, it's a disappointing start, 3-3, 2-0 in Conference USA. They lost at South Alabama 42-14. They lost to BYU 25-24. They lost to Ohio State. Buckeyes get their revenge 34-16. Then they won at Colorado 20-15. The Owls won at Western Kentucky 17-7. Then they beat UTEP at home 42-7. So 3-3 after a disappointing start. Finally started to turn things around, but probably a little bit too late with 3 losses. Not ranked in the top 25 anymore, but Kennesaw State does lead the Eastern Division with a 3-3 record and 2-0 in conference play. Although a lot of teams still in the mix, UMass, Liberty, FIU, and UConn have not lost a conference game as of yet. Taking a look at the final regular season results, well, it didn't go very well. 7-5, 3-3 at the midway point, 7-5 at the end of the regular season. Not a bad second half, but not enough to put Kennesaw State into the promised land, which they have been trying desperately to get to. After a bye week, they started the second half with a win at UMass, 27-23. That was a big win. Minutemen were ranked at the time 9-3. They finished their season. Then a home loss to Liberty, 34-29. That proved very devastating to the Owls. Then they beat Jacksonville State 31-24. They beat Florida International 41-17. They lost to Rutgers, a heartbreaker, 28-27. And then they beat UConn 34-7. But that loss to Liberty at home, 34-29, that was devastating because that cost the Owls the Eastern Division Championship. Despite the 7-5 record, they still went 6-2 in conference play. But they finished tied with Liberty with a 6-2 conference record. Liberty gets the nod because they won the head-to-head matchup. So Kennesaw State does not finish in the rankings at the end of the regular season, and they do not play for the Conference USA Championship this year. Liberty will take on La Tech. Instead, Kennesaw State gets to go to the New Mexico Bowl, where they will take on the San Jose State Spartans in a battle of unranked squads in the New Mexico Bowl. But still a postseason game for Kennesaw State, better than what they were when Hayden Fox took over the program. Halftime, Kennesaw State's up 17-7. They had a very solid first half performance. And this Kennesaw State team was pretty good. It just, things did not go their way this season. Look at all the time the San Jose State quarterback has to throw. And when you give a quarterback that much time, those are usually the results that you're going to get. But Kennesaw State held on in the second half for a 27-10 win, so they win the New Mexico Bowl, finish the season on a high note, 8-5. 174 yards passing for Dallas Ekier, plus 2 touchdowns. He's your player of the game. He led the Owls to the victory in the New Mexico Bowl. Just another feather in the cap, in the postseason cap of Hayden Fox, but not the postseason he's looking for. He wants the national playoffs for his Owls. Signature wins were missing this year, but the Owls get the, well, it says 27-4 win in the bowl game. Thanks, EA. That was not the score, but they get the win, and they finish the season 8-5. They win the New Mexico Bowl for, I don't even know how many times they've won it now. Hayden Fox, just like the Bahamas Bowl, they are favorites in the city of Albuquerque when this bowl season comes around. The Owls had the number 10 recruiting class. Again, another top 10 recruiting class. No 5-star guys, but 16 4-star guys. Once again, the Owls continue to recruit well, and they're hoping that it will bring them a national championship. Could that national championship come in season 14? The year is now 2037, and Hayden Fox and the Kennesaw State Owls still have a 3-star prestige school, but the overall rankings have come down. 88 overall, 87 offense, 89 defense. No preseason ranking this year, and they're hoping that they can turn things around. The midseason report shows the Owls with a 4-2 record, 1-1 in Conference USA play. They beat Louisville on the road 56-17. That looked like a good win at the time. Then they beat UCLA 40-16. They lost to Hawaii at home 37-20. They beat Western Kentucky 41-32. Then they beat Michigan. What a game that was at home, 56-54. And then they followed that up with a loss to UMass 20-17. That's just devastating. So 4-2 at the midway point, 1-1 in Conference USA play. The Owls are not ranked, and they sit in 5th place in the Eastern Division of Conference USA, 4-2, 1-1. Still in the mix, though. They're only 1 game behind UConn, Rutgers, and UMass. So lots of battle still to go on in the Eastern Division. So let's take a look at how the second half of the season went. And 7-5 is what the Owls finished, 4-4 in Conference USA. So after beating Michigan in that big win, 56-54, they lost to UMass, as we said, 20-17. That was a heartbreaking loss after beating Michigan. Then they rebounded from that and beat Liberty 16-13. They beat Jacksonville State 44-14. Then they lost on the road to Florida International in a game that they should have won. They lost that one 16-6. They lost at Middle Tennessee State 35-28. They were ranked 15th at the time. And then they lost to Rutgers, 12th ranked Rutgers, 35-28. They ended their 3-game losing streak with a win at UConn to close out the season, 17-14. Owls 7-5, 4-4 in Conference USA play, so they will not play for the championship this year. The 7-5 record, though, will get them a bowl game. But that was just that 3-game losing streak near the end of the season that cost them any shot at the at the conference championship. So they will go to a bowl game. They're hoping so, anyway. Not ranked in the national rankings, as you would expect with a 7-5 record. They finished 4-4 in Conference USA play, 3 games behind Rutgers, who was 10-2 and 7-1. Middle Tennessee State won the Western Division, 9-3, 6-2 in conference play. So the loss to Rutgers hurt, but the other losses hurt just as much. And Kennesaw State finishes the regular season 7-5, but the athletic director thinks Hayden Fox still has the team in the right direction. I mean, look, they've been in 5 bowl games in the last 7 years. So they gave him a 5-year contract extension once again. The AD believing that Hayden Fox is the man to lead the Owls to the promised land. We'll have to see. We're now a long time into his career, and he still has not delivered the national championship that he promised at his press conference when he was hired. The Owls will go to the Armed Forces Bowl this year, and they will take on Fresno State. Neither team is ranked, so it should be a competitive matchup between the Bulldogs and the Owls. Good first half for the Owls. They have a 20-7 lead. There's one of their touchdown passes right there. Nice pass, broke the tackle, and bumbled and stumbled his way down into the end zone for the touchdown for Kennesaw State. They followed the first half with a good second half, and the Owls win the Armed Forces Bowl 34-10 over Fresno State. So another bowl win for the Owls as they continue to make strides in their program. Alex Lemon, the quarterback, 135 yards passing and a touchdown. He is your player of the game. There's one of the times that the defense faltered in this game. That didn't happen very often for the Owls today. There's one of their touchdown scores, and the Kennesaw State Owls win their first ever Armed Forces Bowl over Fresno State, a 34-10 dominating performance. 17 points in the second quarter put that one away, and the Owls finished the season 8-5. They win the Armed Forces Bowl, first time they were invited there, and they get the victory. Take a look at the recruiting class this year for the Owls, and once again, another solid class. They have the 8th best recruiting class in the country, 1 5-star guy, 11 4-star guys. So once again, the Owls recruit very well, and hopefully that will lead to a national championship with Hayden Fox down the road. The Owls are hoping that all that good recruiting is going to pay off here in season 15, 2038. They are still a 3-star school, 87 overall ranking, 90 offense, 85 defense. The defense has taken a hit due to graduation and players going to the NFL. We'll take a look at your mid-season report, and not a bad start for the Owls. They are 4-2, 1-1 in Conference USA play. They started the season with a 38-37 loss to Bowling Green in a game they should have won. Then they beat Cincinnati 28-21. They won at East Carolina 34-27. They beat Arizona State at home 26-14. They beat Louisiana Tech 36-7. Then the winning streak came to an end. Another game they should have won. They lost 17-13 at UMass. You can't be losing games to UMass if you want to put a national championship team together. Owls are not ranked nationally. They are 4-2 overall, 1-1 in Conference USA play, still in contention in the East Division. They are a game behind Liberty. The Flames are off to a good start, 5-1 and 2-0 in conference play. Western Kentucky and Arkansas State, also UTEP, leading the West Division. Taking a look at the final results for the season, well, things did not go as Hayden Fox had hoped. Kennesaw State finishes the year 6-6. After losing that gut-wrenching loss to UMass, they then lost to Liberty 27-24. Then they got back on the winning side of things, pounding Jacksonville State 55-10. They beat Florida International 27-21. And unfortunately, that 2-game winning streak is all they could put together. They lost to Middle Tennessee State 37-27. They lost to Rutgers 23-17. And then they lost to UConn 20-6. So the team was 6-3 at one point. Still looking promising for a Conference USA championship game, but they lost the final 3 games of the regular season, dashing all those hopes. So 6-6 on the season, 3-5 in Conference USA play, not even sniffing Conference USA championship game this year. And the Owls, they seem to be either stuck in neutral or heading in the wrong direction. But either way, it looks like the quest for the national championship is way down the road, if at all. We'll have to see how things shake out. No national ranking, as you would expect, and 6-6 overall, 3-5 in Conference USA play. They finished 2 games behind UMass, so that was a big loss to UMass, who ended up salvaging their season, and they get a spot to play for the Conference USA Championship. They'll take on Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers, 11-1, 8-0 in conference play. So a really solid year for them. Kennesaw State gets an invite to the Birmingham Bowl for the first time, and they will take on the Texas Longhorns. Pretty formidable opponent in their first appearance in the Birmingham Bowl. Neither team is ranked though, but it still should be a competitive game. Texas started out with the trick plays right off the bat, and they started out strong, but Kennesaw State came back, and the Owls have a 14-7 lead at the half here in their first ever appearance in the Birmingham Bowl. But it wasn't enough. Texas had a strong second half and came back for a 21-17 win. They claim the Birmingham Bowl. The Owls close out a season that they'd like to forget, 6-7. First losing season under Coach Hayden Fox. And they didn't play bad. They did not play badly at all. Just the defense did not rise to the occasion when they needed to. Texas, the Longhorns, their offense did. And that is what got Texas the victory in the Birmingham Bowl. So Kennesaw State finishes the year 6-7, an embarrassing season for Kennesaw State. Not to mention Texas scored 14 points in the fourth quarter to pull that one out late to get the victory. Third best recruiting class in the country for the Owls. 5 5-star guys, 7 4-star guys. So once again, the future's looking pretty bright for the Kennesaw State Owls. Welcome to season 16. This is year 2039, and the Owls program took a hit. They are down to a 2.5-star prestige program now. Although the team did improve, they're now a 91 overall this year, 94 offense, 90 defense. That's a pretty solid offense, 94 overall, so we'll have to see what the season brings. Mid-season report, 4-2 record, 2-1 in Conference USA play. We beat 14th ranked NC State 33-21. After a bye week, they beat Michigan 43-26. Then they lost in big fashion to Texas 44-7. The Owls then lost their second in a row 31-20 at Arkansas State. Then they won 2 in a row, beating Louisiana Tech 33-28. And then they topped UMass 35-7. So 4-2 in the first half of the season. Could have been 5-1. Should have been 5-1. Maybe should have been undefeated. I don't know. A couple of breaks here and there. Easily could have been a 6-0 team. But they stand 4-2. They're not ranked. And they are 2-1 in Conference USA play. They're only a half game behind Liberty right now in the Eastern Division. Over in the West, Arkansas State 6-1 and 4-0. Arkansas State, of course, beating the Owls. And that was a very big game, because that is keeping them a half game behind the Liberty Flames right now. So let's take a look and see what happened in the second half of the season. Not all that bad for the Owls. They finished ranked number 21 in the nation, 9-3, 7-1 in Conference USA play. So pretty solid second half for the Owls. Like I said, they beat La Tech 33-28. Then they beat UMass 35-7. They won at Liberty 23-21. They came home and beat Jacksonville State 42-17. That was a very decisive victory for the Owls. Then they went on the road and beat Florida International 21-16 in a game that was closer than it should have been. Then we lost a home game to Cal 38-22. Beat Rutgers though the following week 27-6. And won at UConn in big fashion, 42-3. So 9-3 on the season. The Owls are 21st in the nation and 7-1 in Conference USA play. They will play for the CUSA Championship, and it will be a rematch against Arkansas State. They are 10-2 and ranked 22nd in the nation. So it'll be a pretty good matchup for the Conference Championship. Of course, I was looking for revenge after falling to the Red Wolves earlier in the season. That was a really dominant win over UConn to close out the regular season. They're looking to ride that momentum into the conference championship. Kennesaw State ranked 9-3. They're ranked number 21 in the nation at 9-3. Georgia's number 1 at 11-1. There's the Eastern Division standings. The Owls 7-1 in conference play. They win the division by 3 games over Jacksonville State. That is a large margin of victory, and they'll take on Arkansas State for the Conference USA Championship. Number 21 against number 22 with the conference title on the line. Should be a competitive game between the Red Wolves and the Owls. Pretty solid first half for the Red Wolves, and they had a 13-3 lead at the break. There's one of their touchdowns, and Kennesaw State only mustered a field goal in the first half. So Arkansas State doing a very good job shutting down the offense in the first half, but not the second half. The Owls come storming back for a 27-13 win and they claim the Conference USA Championship with a strong second half. Dom North had 17 carries for 69 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's the player of the game, leading Kennesaw State to the Conference USA Championship. With a dominant performance in the second half, the Owls got it together, and whatever halftime adjustments they made, well, they took and they held, and the Owls now celebrate in front of an empty table as the Conference USA champions. Now the only question is, will they get an invite to the big dance? 27-13, they get the win, 10-3 on the season. 17-point fourth quarter clinched the victory for the Owls and the Conference USA Championship. Now the big question is, are the committee members impressed enough to get the Owls into the national playoffs? They've only been there a couple of times. And first we're going to take a look at the award winners. Mike Shaw, Center of the Year for 2039. It's always nice when the Owls get some hardware because they don't really get a lot of it. And no, they did not get the invite. They go to the Bahamas Bowl instead. The Conference USA champions will take on Southern Mississippi in the Bahamas Bowl. The Owls are ranked 21st, and they are upset that they got snubbed for the national championship tournament. Halftime of the Bahamas Bowl sees the Owls ahead 21-14 in a game that really is a little closer than it should be. The Owls were heavily favored coming into this one. And here you can see the defense got picked apart. And the Owls were holding tough at the break. Here's one of their scoring plays right here. Nice run off to the right. Beautiful hole by the offensive line. A lot of bright spots on this Owls team. Led to a lot of plays like that, but not enough on the defensive side of things, as you can see, because they're playing in the Bahamas Bowl. And they didn't play good enough in the second half, and they lose 35-31. The Owls just let this one slip away, and the season ends with major disappointment. They wanted to go to the big dance. They didn't, and then they lose the Bahamas Bowl, making the vote getters look good in their decision to keep the Owls out of the big tournament at the end of the season. That's one of the plays right there that cost Kennesaw State the Bahamas Bowl championship. Defense just did not show up when it needed to in this one. So Kennesaw State finishes the season with a record of 10-4. Good season overall record-wise, but still the national championship evades the Owls. And they had the 23rd ranked recruiting class in the country this year. Suffered a little bit. 3 5-star guys, though, 4 4-star guys. So we're still getting good players to come to Kennesaw, and we need somehow to find the magic to turn us into champions. Could that magical season happen in 2040, season 17? Well, we're going to have to find out. Let's take a look. The Owls have a prestige rating of 3.5 stars, 89 overall, 90 offense, 89 defense, and they are ranked number 24 in the preseason polls. So the experts have high hopes for the Owls this year, and the midseason report shows a 5-1 record, 2-0 in Conference USA. They're ranked number 13 in the nation. They opened up with a 41-35 win at Baylor. They beat Northern Illinois 27-13. The Owls then lost to Minnesota 31-21. The Gophers undefeated. They beat 20th ranked TCU 35-34. The Owls then beat Arkansas State 24-20 and closed out the first half of the season with a 56-17 pounding of New Mexico State. So 5-1 with the only loss of the season so far coming to an undefeated school. Not bad so far for the Owls. They are ranked number 13 in the nation with a 5-1 record. Wisconsin is number 1 at 6-0. Taking a look at Conference USA play, Kennesaw State 5-1, 2-0. They are tied for first place in the Eastern Division with Jacksonville State and Rutgers, and Liberty and UMass just a game behind. La Tech leading the West Division 4-1, 2-0 at the midseason point. Take a look at the final regular season standings, 10-2. The Kennesaw State Owls had a very solid second half of the year. They are now ranked 11th in the country. And after that destruction of New Mexico State, they went on to beat UMass 49-28. Then they beat Liberty 54-27. Lots of points being put up by the Owls. Then they lost. It all came crashing down at Jacksonville State. They lost 20-19. Good team that they lost to. And the next week, they got back on the winning side of things. The Owls beat Florida International at home 20-14. Then they went to Rutgers after a week off, got a win there 38-30, and closed out the season at home with a 44-3 pounding of the UConn Huskies. So overall, 10-2 on the season, 7-1 in Conference USA play. The only loss coming to Jacksonville State in that heartbreaking 2-point loss. The Owls are ranked number 11 in the nation at the end of the regular season, and that means if they can win the Conference USA Championship, they might just get an invite to the dance. We'll have to see how that plays out. Right now, they're ranked 11th in the nation, 10-2. Florida Gators are number 1 at 11-1. Taking a look at the Conference USA final standings in the East Division, Kennesaw State 10-2, 7-1. 1 game ahead of Jacksonville State. They finished 6-2. Kennesaw State will play La Tech in the Conference USA Championship game. They are 10-2 and 7-1 in conference play. They are ranked 18th in the nation. The Owls are ranked number 11. So this is a big win that Kennesaw State needs to get, and they should, if they can get the win, they should get an invite to the national championship tournament at the end of the year. So we'll have to see. First half went well for the Owls. 21-7 lead over Louisiana Tech. Game was played in the Orange Bowl at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, and the Owls playing very well in the warmth of South Florida. And it was a dominating second half that gave Kennesaw State the Conference USA Championship victory, 38-14 over Louisiana Tech. 251 yards in the air for Casey Miles, the quarterback. He also had 3 touchdowns. He's the player of the game that led the Owls to the Conference USA Championship. Dominating second half, put it away, and you can see the Owls put up a lot of points this year. So there was a lot of confidence in the voters, and there you go. They will celebrate once again in front of the empty table. Thanks EA Sports for that. Conference USA trophy no longer appearing in the game, but the Owls know it's there. It's in their mind. They know they're the champions, and they hope to get an invite to the big dance. 38-14, the victory over Louisiana Tech. They are 11-2. The Owls 11-2. Is that going to be good enough to get them an invite? We will have to see. Right now, they are the Conference USA champions, but they want more. And let's see, will that invite come? Were the voters impressed enough? First, we have awards. Special Teams Returner of the Year goes to Kona Samalo over Kennesaw State. Always nice when the Owls get somebody to win some hardware. And there it is. We did get the invite. The news just in. Kennesaw State, number 12 in the nation, will make an appearance in the college football playoff tournament, and they will be taking on the number 2 Florida Gators. So it's not going to be easy, but they did get the invite. It's a first-round matchup. The Owls are the number 12 seed. They will visit the 5th seed Florida Gators. Gators are 11-2. Kennesaw State is 11-2. They meet in the first round. Winner goes on to the quarterfinals. Pretty good start for the Owls in the Swamp. 14-7 lead at the half. There was one of the scores there. Not a lot of offense, plenty of good defense in this one. And there's the Gators throwing an interception. Kennesaw State's defense played very well, looking for the upset here in the Swamp. 14-7 lead at the half. The Owls feeling confident heading into the second half. But it was not to be. The Gators pulled it out, shutting out the Owls in the second half and pulling out a 21-14 victory to move on in the championship tournament and send the Owls home packing. But Kennesaw State has nothing to be ashamed about. They played very well in a game. They were the heavy underdogs. and they had the lead at the halftime. They shut the Gators' offense down for the most part, and the Gators pulled it out late, or very late, to get the win in advance. So Kennesaw State, as they continue to move forward to chase down that potential national championship, they played very well. They finished the season at 11-3, but the Gators needed a late score to get the win here. So Kennesaw State, hold your head up high, 11-3 on the year, still moving toward that national championship, and this is going to help. Number 2 recruiting class in the country, 5 5-star guys, 15 4-star guys are coming to play for the Owls, and the future continues to look bright in Kennesaw. Would season 18 be the magical year? The year is 2041. The program prestige is at 3.5 stars. The Owls have a preseason ranking of number 19 in the nation. So everything's looking good coming in. Although the numbers are a little bit down, 88 overall, 90 offense, 87 defense, but a perfect 6-0 start to the season at the midway point, and the Owls are ranked number 6 in the country. We beat Cal 38-21, beat Miami University 41-31, won at Temple 49-21, beat Ball State 20-6. That completed the non-conference games. Then we beat New Mexico State 38-17 and beat up Sam Houston 40-7. Owls are ranked number 6 in the nation, a perfect 6-0, 2-0 in Conference USA play. Can they hold that out and keep it going in the second half of the season? We shall see. There's your 6th ranked Kennesaw State Owls, number 6. Florida's number 1 at 5-0. Taking a look at the Conference USA standings, we got a battle in the East Division. Jacksonville State 6-0, 2-0. Kennesaw State 6-0, 2-0. And UConn, Rutgers, and UMass only 1 game out. Arkansas State currently leading the West Division, 4-2 and 3-0 in conference play. So now we take a look at the final regular season standings. Nope, we're going to look at things after we're in week 9. And the Owls are 7-0, number 3 in the nation. 7-0. They're the highest ranked undefeated team in the country. Miami is number 6. They're number 7 at 6-0. Now we'll take a look at the rankings in week number 14. The Owls are 11-0, ranked number 2 in the country, the highest ranking ever in school history. And in the East Division in the Conference USA, they are 11-0, 7-0. With only 1 game left, they have clinched the Eastern Division Championship. So they finished at number 4 and 12-0 in the regular season, 8-0 in Conference USA play. So they didn't lose a game, but they did drop a couple of spots. What happened in the second half of the season? They beat UMass 35-17. Then they beat 20th ranked Liberty 45-20 on the road. The Owls beat Jacksonville State pretty badly, 52-14. Then they went down to Miami and beat Florida International 24-10. Then they had a bye week before finishing up the season. Home victory over 18th ranked Rutgers 41-18. And then they went up to East Hartford, Connecticut and beat UConn 35-16 to finish off the 12-0 perfect regular season, 8-0 in Conference USA play, and your Owls are ranked number 4 in the nation. They lost 2 spots. I don't know how. They beat Rutgers is a good win. They're ranked and they're 9-3 overall, so I don't know how they fell a couple spots. That's a really solid win. But they're going to play UTEP in the Conference USA Championship game. The Miners are ranked number 25. They are 7-5 on the season, so the Owls are heavily favored coming into the Conference USA Championship game. There are your rankings. Kentucky is number 1, Notre Dame 2, Ohio State number 3 with 2 losses. And they are ranked ahead of your 4th ranked Kennesaw State Owls. I don't understand that. The Owls won the Eastern Division by 3 games. Liberty 8-4, 5-3. UTEP 7-5 overall, 6-2 in the conference. They won the Western Division. So it is a very solid number 4 against number 20, I believe they are, matchup Nope, they're number 25, and there's your Conference USA matchup. 4th-ranked Owls and the 25th-ranked Miners, Kennesaw State. This could be the best season they've ever had. They are heavily favored coming into the Conference USA Championship, and it was a snowy day for the Conference USA title. And at halftime, Kennesaw State not getting a lot done offensively, playing solid defensively, but the offense not getting much done. There was a good play right there. But they trail UTEP 10-6 at the half. Snowy day here in Philadelphia, Lincoln Financial Field. And look at the comeback. The Owls, solid second half, shut the Miners out. And the Kennesaw State Owls are the Conference USA champions. Once again, Eric Ziegler, freshman middle linebacker, had 4 tackles, a sack, and a defensive tackle. He's your player of the game, leading the Owls to the Conference USA Championship on a very snowy and cold day in Philadelphia at Lincoln Financial Field. So that just about guarantees Kennesaw State to be in the National Championship Tournament. And there they go again, celebrating in front of an empty table. Thanks, EA. Conference USA Championship doesn't appear in the game anymore. I don't know if they had a falling out or what, but it does not show in the game anymore. So 27-10 is this final score. 13-0 is where the Owls sit. UTEP 7-6 on the year. They'll probably go to a bowl game. And the Owls are the Conference USA champions and more than likely heading to a bid in the Big Dance, the National Championship playoffs. And Hayden Fox wins Coach of the Year. Well, it's about time. Hayden Fox, Coach of the Year, the man at the helm of the Kennesaw State Owls. Congratulations, Mr. Fox. That is an award well deserved. Keegan Jr., recently brought on defensive coordinator, wins the Broyles Award for the Coordinator of the Year. So when you win a lot of games, people start to notice what's going on within your program. So the Kennesaw State Owls, they're going to play Florida, a rematch with the Gators in the Fiesta Bowl. The Owls are ranked number 5, seeded number 5. Florida's seeded number 9. And the Owls are actually going to be the home team in the Fiesta Bowl. This is a quarterfinal matchup. The Owls got a first-round bye, so that's pretty good. They are seeded number 2, and Florida's seeded number 10. So the rankings, Owls are number 5, Florida's number 9. Rankings and seedings, all different in the playoffs. And as you can see, the Fiesta Bowl not going very well in the first half. Owls trailing 21-3, not getting anything done offensively. And I gotta say, the Owls were heavily favored coming into this one. So this would be a major upset by the Gators if they can continue this solid play in the second half. And let's take a look and see. The Owls made a comeback, but it was too little, too late. They just fell behind too far in the first half, 38-24. The Owls go down to defeat the Gators with the upset. And that's right, Kennesaw State was heavily favored, so that is an upset. Gators continue on. The Owls fall in the the Fiesta Bowl, the national quarterfinals. Kennesaw State Owls, furthest they've ever advanced in the national playoffs, and they are going to fall short of a national championship. So it's not going to happen this year, but things are looking good for next year. When you make it to the playoffs and you get to the second round, people are expecting big things. Owls finished 13-1, so what a devastating first loss to the season. They fall 38-24. They just waited too long to get some offense going, and still, even then, they still lost by 14 points. The recruiting class, number 3 in the country, another fantastic recruiting class. 2 5-star guys, 21 4-star guys. So the future is still looking very bright for Hayden Fox and the Kennesaw State Owls. So we move on to season 19. The year is 2042. Can Kennesaw State turn last season's success into success this season? They're still 3.5 stars, 87 overall, 89 offense, 87 defense. So numbers took a little bit of a hit, Owls are ranked number 17 in the preseason poll. So let's take a look at what happened halfway through the year. They're 3-3, 1-1 in conference play, so it doesn't look like a national championship is coming this year. We lost to Iowa State 34-32, lost to Troy, a heartbreaker 49-47, beat Georgia State 42-21, beat UTSA 35-21, blasted Sam Houston at home 30-0, and then lost at UTEP 21-18. So 3-3 in the first half. Not too bad, but not a national championship season. No three-loss team is going to win the championship. Eastern Division standings. The Owls are 3-3, 1-1, only a game behind Liberty at this point. Both Liberty and Rutgers 5-1, 2-0 in conference play. So let's take a look at how the second half went. Not too bad. 8-4 overall. So 5-1 is what the Owls did in the second half of the year. They're ranked number 24 in the final regular season poll. They beat UMass, pounded the Minutemen pretty good up in Massachusetts 56-7. Came home and held on for a 28-27 win over Liberty. Lost at Jacksonville State 27-24. That's the only loss of the second half for the Owls. Then they beat Florida International at home 45-38. And then 13th ranked Rutgers came into town. Big win there, 20-14 over the 10-2 Scarlet Knights. And the Owls finished the season with a 31-17 win over UConn. So number 24 in the final regular season poll, 8-4 overall, 6-2 in Conference USA play. Not good enough to win the Eastern Division Championship, though. So the Owls will not play for the Conference USA title this year. But they will go to a bowl game with an 8-4 record. We'll take a look at the rankings. There's your 24th ranked Owls at 8-4. Clemson is the number 1 team in the nation at 11-1. And there's Kennesaw State. Despite the win over Rutgers, they still fell a game behind the Scarlet Knights. Rutgers finished 10-2, 7-1. They'll play La Tech, who was 7-5, 6-2. Those are your participants in the Conference USA Championship. And the AD still believes in Hayden Fox. The Owls give Hayden another 5-year extension. So he's going to be here for over 20 years. He said if he wins a national championship, he'll retire. But you got to get there first to even consider it. And so far, it just has not happened. The Owls have been close many times, but they believe Hayden Fox is the man to get it done. So they give him a new contract extension. The Owls go to the New Orleans Bowl for the first time. Ranked number 25, they will take on the Oregon State Beavers. So we'll see how things play out at the first ever appearance at the R&L New Orleans Bowl, R&L Carriers Orange Bowl. It's not the Orange Bowl, it's the New Orleans Bowl. 14-14 at halftime. Owls came into this one favored, not by a lot, 7-point favorites coming in, but we're tied at 14 at the half. So we'll see what happened in the second half. And, well, you can see Oregon State got the offense going, and Kennesaw State did not. The Beavers win the New Orleans Bowl 28-17. And what a disappointing season. 8-5 for the Owls, following such a tremendous year last year where they go to the second round of the national playoffs, and then 8-5 this year. So more disappointment at Kennesaw State, but another winning record. So Hayden Fox still in favor with the AD, still putting winning seasons together, but cannot win that national championship. That's sad. 28-17 is the final score in the New Orleans Bowl, the Owls falling to the Beavers. So let's take a look at how recruiting went. And the Owls have the number 6 recruiting class in the country. They have been recruiting outstandingly well. 6th best class in the country, 1 5-star guy, 19 4-star guys. The roster is filled with 4-star guys. When are we going to get a national championship? Will it be in 2043? Hayden Fox's 20th year with the Kennesaw State Owls. Still 3.5 stars prestige, 88 overall, 91 offense, 87 defense. Not ranked in the preseason poll for season 20. So we'll take a look at the mid-season report. Pretty good start for the Owls, 5-1. They won at Fresno State 38-28. Beat Auburn, lost it to Auburn at home 27-24. Beat Old Dominion 38-10. Beat Houston 35-21. Beat Western Kentucky 30-18. Beat UTEP 30-10. The only loss coming to Auburn, who's a very tough school, and it was on home field. And they're 3-2, so they're not a top team, but Auburn's still a very solid SEC squad. So no rankings in the top 25 right now. Take a look at the Conference USA Eastern Division. Kennesaw State with that 5-1 record, 2-0 in Conference USA. They lead the Eastern Division by a game over UMass. And Liberty and Rutgers are a half game out. Let's see what happened in the second half. Not too bad, 9-3 overall, 6-2 in Conference USA. Owls are ranked number 23 in the nation. Let's see, they beat Houston 35-21, won at Western Kentucky 30-18, beat UTEP 30-10, lost a heartbreaker to UMass 33-32. UMass not a bad team this year though. Beat Liberty 35-20, beat Jacksonville State 30-25, lost another one they should have won, that one at Florida International 31-18, beat Rutgers 27-24, and then went up to Connecticut and beat UConn 36-21. So of the three losses this year, really you could say should have won all three games. Kennesaw State ranked number 23 in the final regular season poll, and their 6-2 record in Conference USA play clinches them the Eastern Division Championship, and they will play La Tech for the Conference USA Championship. They are 6-6, so the Owls will be heavily favored coming into that one. There you see they're ranked number 23 at 9-3. Clemson is the number 1 team in the nation at 10-2. The Owls 9-3 overall, 6-2 in the Eastern Division. They won the division by 1 game over Liberty and UMass. La Tech 6-6, 5-3. They weren't the best team in the Western Division, but they got the tiebreakers, and they will face the 23rd ranked Kennesaw State Owls for the Conference USA Championship. The Owls will be, I would say, heavily favored coming into this game, and we shall see how it played out. Looks like a foggy night, and in the first half, things not too bad. Owls trail Louisiana Tech 21-14 at the half. There's a nice, I want to say touchdown pass, but I don't want to speak too soon. Oh, look at it. It is. What a run after a catch there for the Owls to get the touchdown, and La Tech tying it up there. And it was a back-and-forth game the entire night, and Kennesaw State falls short 31-28. Louisiana Tech wins the Conference USA Championship in an upset. You got to call that an upset. The Owls were 9-3. They'll still go to a bowl game, but La Tech comes in 6-6, so they were the heavy underdogs, but they held tough with the Owls, and they got just enough to pull out the 3-point victory. So now Louisiana Tech will get to celebrate in front of an empty table. Always nice to win your conference and have no trophy. I gotta laugh every time I see that. It's a cold night, but La Tech comes out on top, 31-28. Kennesaw State just could not stop them. They didn't play poorly offensively, but the defense couldn't get it done. So they're 9-4, and they're going back to the Bahamas Bowl. Haven't been there in a while, and it's a battle of non-ranked teams, the Kennesaw State Owls and the Southern Mississippi Golden Eagles, battling it out in the Bahamas Bowl. It was a beautiful afternoon in the Bahamas, and at halftime, Kennesaw State with a 10-3 lead over Southern Miss. The Owls favored coming into this one, but it was a pretty good game. Love those all gold uniforms. And look at this, they couldn't hold the lead. Southern Mississippi comes back for a 26-20 win in the Bahamas Bowl. So what a disappointing end to the season for the Owls. They lost the Conference USA Championship, and then they lost the Bahamas Bowl. Both games that they should have won. This was a season where the Owls should have possibly made the national championship playoffs if they won the conference title. But they lost the final 2 games of the season, and that's no way to get into the national championship playoffs. So we're going to call that an upset. Southern Miss comes back and defeats Kennesaw State. And the Owls finished the year 9-5. That was overtime, by the way. That game was overtime. Southern Miss with the victory, 26-20. They finished their season at 7-6. 8th ranked recruiting class in the country for the Owls. Not bad. No 5-star guys this year, but 24-star guys. This roster is stacked. When will they be able to put it together and bring a national championship home? 2044, season 21. Will this be the magical year that Hayden Fox leads the Owls to the national championship? They come in the season unranked, still 3.5 stars, 89 off overall, 91 offense, 89 defense. Picked to win the Eastern Division and Conference USA. Let's take a look at the mid-season report. The Owls are ranked number 24, 5-1 overall, 2-0 in conference play. They won at Illinois 35-21, won at Tulane 34-21, lost to Oklahoma, tough game there at home, 28-24. Then they beat Western Kentucky 35-21, beat USC pretty good 49-28, and then beat UMass 45-21. So the only loss of the season so far comes to the Oklahoma Sooners, who are not really having a good year, but as a Big 12 school, they are still a very strong program. Kennesaw State, number 24 in the nation, 5-1. Georgia's number 1 at 6-0. Eastern Division standings, Kennesaw State 5-1, 2-0. They have a 1-game lead on everybody in the division, 1.5 games on Liberty. Arkansas State 6-0, 3-0, leading the Western Division. Let's take a look at the final regular season results. The Owls, 8th in the country, 11-1, perfect 8-0 in Conference USA play. So very solid season. The only loss of the year coming to Oklahoma right there. Sooners 6-6. Not a good year for them, but they're still a very strong program. The Owls, after beating UMass, came home and beat Liberty. Tough game there, 38-10. Liberty's 38-10. Jacksonville State was the tough game, 30-27. They were ranked 12th in the nation. Beat Florida International 31-17. Won at Middle Tennessee State 45-31. Won at Rutgers 28-22. And beat UConn 44-10. So the only loss of the season coming to the Oklahoma Sooners. That shows you that this Kennesaw State team is tough. 11-1, 8-0 in Conference USA play. They are number 8 in the nation. And they're going to play Louisiana Tech once again for the conference championship. La Tech is 10-2, ranked number 20 in the nation. So this is going to be a very good game. The Owls, though, still will be favored coming in to the championship game. Taking a look at your top 25, there are your Kennesaw State Owls at number 8, 11-1 overall. Clemson is the number 1 team in the country at 12-0. They're the only undefeated team in the nation. Kennesaw State wins the Eastern Division of Conference USA, 11-1, 8-0, 2 games over Jacksonville State. La Tech goes 10-2, 6-2 into conference play. They won the West Division by 1 game over New Mexico State and Arkansas State. So the Conference USA title game is set. It is a top 20 matchup. The Owls, though, will be favored coming in, heavily favored. They are ranked number 8. Louisiana Tech is number 20. I say heavily favored. I say I would put this at about 12 points. I would say the Owls would be favored by 12 coming in to the Conference USA Championship game. And, well, the first half has played out exactly how you would expect, or how you would hope, anyway. 24-zip. The Owls have the lead. I think this game was played in Nashville. where the Titans play. Nissan Stadium, I believe it was. And the Owls with the big 24-0 halftime lead. Offense running roughshod all over La Tech, as they should. We'll have to see what happens in the second half. Hopefully no collapses on the way. And wow, there almost was. The Owls' offense just completely disappeared in the second half, but they were able to hold on for a 31-23 victory. It was tough. Dwight Davis, the senior quarterback, threw for 269 yards and 4 touchdowns. Look at that 100% completion rate. And he was able to lead the Owls to a tough, hard-fought victory for the Conference USA Championship. And the Owls are now moving on. That should give them an automatic bid into the, not an automatic bid, but into the national playoffs. And once again, they celebrate in front of an empty table. They celebrate their Conference USA Championship 31-23. And Kennesaw State had to hold on for that victory. They are 12-1. La Tech 10-3, not bad. They will be headed to a bowl game. And the Owls, not a guaranteed spot into the national playoffs, but should be. They are the Conference USA champions with only 1 loss, ranked highly. They should be in the national championship tournament. We will find out in just a moment when the bids come out. And there you go, Kennesaw State. They are an 8 seed. They will host a playoff game in the first round against the 9th seeded Arizona State Sun Devils. Kennesaw State 12-1, Sun Devils 11-2, so that should be a very good playoff game. Center of the year goes to Cliff Burfict. Always good when the Owls get some hardware. 2044 Center of the Year goes to Cliff, and congratulations to him. First round playoff game. 8th ranked Kennesaw State, 9th ranked Arizona State, the Sun Devils and the Owls meeting at Kennesaw State. The Owls actually hosting a playoff game here in the first round, as first round games are played on campus. Kennesaw State holding a slim 14-7 lead at halftime. Fairly even matchup, and as you can see, the offense was going pretty good. And look at this, the Owls turned it up big time in the second half and blew out Arizona State 31-7, and the Owls win their first ever playoff game. And now we'll move on to the quarterfinals. Larry Teague, junior halfback, 169 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns to lead the Owls to victory. Explosive second half for Kennesaw State. You can see the fans going crazy. They win their first ever playoff game, and it comes at home, and they will move on to the national quarterfinals. We'll see who they'll be matched up with, but they got to be, I don't know if they'll be favored or not, but be a good matchup. 13-1 is where the Owls stand. 17 points in the second half put away the Sun Devils. They finished their year 11-3, nothing to be ashamed at there. So the Owls at 13-1 win their first ever playoff game, and it comes at home on the campus of Kennesaw State, so an added bonus there. Now they will go on the road for a neutral site game in the national quarterfinals, and they will go to the Orange Bowl to take on top-seeded Clemson. So it's not going to be easy. Not that Arizona State was easy. That was a very competitive game, but Kennesaw State, if they want to move on, they're going to have to pull off the upset at the Orange Bowl. Clemson got a bye into the first round. They were 13-0. Other quarterfinal matchups, Texas and Auburn, Georgia and Oregon, UAB, and Oklahoma State. At halftime in the Orange Bowl, as you would expect, the number 1 team in the nation had the better play, 21-10, Tigers leading the Owls, but we're not out of it. They didn't play poorly in the first half. Clemson was just a better team. So we'll see if the Owls can make some adjustments at halftime and come back in the second half to try and advance. And let's see. Well, they came close. The Owls came close, but could not pull off the upset, falling 24-17 to the number 1 team in the tournament. Clemson still undefeated. Not a bad run for Kennesaw State. Probably their best season ever as far as depth of playoffs goes. They finally won a game. First ever national playoff victory for them. And they almost beat Clemson. They came close. They fell behind. They came back nicely. They just couldn't get over the hump. Exciting game in the Orange Bowl, and there's Clemson. The Orange Bowl trophy is there. So Clemson moves on. The Owls' season comes to a disappointing end, but probably the best season, arguably, in Kennesaw State history. 24-17 is your final score. The Owls came back but fell a little bit short. They finished their season 13-2, and they were eliminated by the 14-0 Clemson Tigers. Nothing to hang your head in shame about. Very solid season by Kennesaw State. And look at this, it turns out Clemson won the national championship. So we almost beat the team that went on to win the national championship. So that's a good sign that maybe we're starting to come around. We've been saying that for 20 years now. Take a look at the recruiting class. Number 1 recruiting class in the country for Kennesaw State. 9 5-star guys, 9 4-star guys. So this roster is stacked, but we just can't seem to win a national championship. We'll see what happens next year. The year is 2045, season 22 for Hayden Fox at the helm of Kennesaw State. Hayden has been hinting lately at possible retirement coming up. Owls are number 13 in the preseason poll, still 3.5 stars, 90 overall, 90 offense, 91 defense. Very solid, well-rounded team. Let's take a look at the midseason report. They're ranked number 11, 4-2 overall, 2-0 in conference play. They lost at Iowa State 23-17. Then they beat Louisville 9-3, lost to Auburn 27-17. Auburn's number 3 in the nation at 6-0. They beat UAB 30-21, beat Louisiana Tech 20-17, and beat UMass 28-20. So 4-2, not a bad record at all. 2 losses were to 2 solid teams. So a pretty good season so far. The Owls ranked number 11 at 4-2, so that tells you all you need to know. Clemson is number 1 at 6-0. In the Eastern Division, Kennesaw State 4-2, 2-0. They're tied with Rutgers and Florida International. The Panthers are a perfect 6-0 and 2-0. Western Kentucky Hilltoppers lead the Western Division. Currently, they are 5-1, 2-0 in conference play. Let's take a look at the final results for the season. 6th is where the Owls are ranked in the final preseason poll. 10-2 overall, 8-0, perfect in Conference USA play. Let's see. We beat UMass 28-20, beat Liberty 33-14, beat Jacksonville State 31-27, went down to Miami and beat Florida International 34-6. Then they came home and beat Middle Tennessee State 45-17. Beat 23rd ranked Rutgers 33-14. The Scarlet Knights are 9-3, and then went to Connecticut and beat UConn 34-10. Solid season for Kennesaw State. 10-2, perfect 8-0 in Conference USA play, and once again they will battle Louisiana Tech for the Conference USA championship. La Tech is ranked number 10 in the nation at 9-3. The Owls, number 6 in the nation at 10-4, so it should be a very good battle, as it usually is, between those 2 squads. All right, so we'll take a look at the top 25, and 6th ranked Kennesaw State, there's your Owls, 10-2. Penn State is number 1 at 11-1. There's no undefeated schools this season. And the final standings in Conference USA, the Owls 10-2, 8-0, 1 game over Rutgers, 2 over UMass. La Tech 9-3, 7-1. Western Kentucky actually had a better record at 10-2, but La Tech got the tiebreaker due to the head-to-head win. So they are ranked number 10, Kennesaw State number 6 for the Conference USA Championship. These 2 have met several times. Each time it has been a very entertaining game. This one no different. Tight game through the first half as expected. The Owls holding a 14-10 lead, led by runs like that and passes like that. Beautiful pass right there. and he's going to bring it in for the score. The Owls offense working very well this evening. Defense playing pretty good as well. And let's see, they hold on. The Owls hold on for a 31-24 win and win the Conference USA Championship once again. Knew it was going to be a tough game, and it was. And the Owls came through in the end. Angel Weaver, the player of the game, 3 catches, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. There's one of them right there. The Owls win the Conference USA Championship and look to be a shoo-in for the national playoff tournament coming up in another week. So another championship celebration in front of an empty table. Thanks, EA. Oh, that's embarrassing. Kennesaw State's won many Conference USA championships and doesn't have a trophy to show for their troubles. So they are 11-2, moving on after the 31-24 win. 17 points in the fourth quarter to pull that one out. So they actually fell behind and had to come back, and they got it done. So that tells you, could this be the year they take home the national championship? We'll have to see. They win the Conference USA championship, and now the only question is, will they get a bid? They should, into the national playoffs. Byron Kane, junior kicker, wins the 2045 Lou Groza Award. So very good for him. 21 of 21 on field goals for the season. So congratulations, Byron. And there is your first round playoff matchup. Kennesaw State is the home team in a neutral site game. They are ranked number 7. Auburn Tigers is the opponent. They are number 10. Kennesaw State feeling good. Had a good year last year. Did well in the playoffs. And once again, they host a first round game. This year it's against Auburn. They won last year's first round game on their home turf. They're 11-2. The Tigers are 10-2. So it should be a pretty good game. Halftime of that first round battle is not going the Owls' way. Tigers up 14-3. There's one of the scores that you just saw, and there's a second one on a short slant route. The Owls, the defense isn't playing poorly, but the offense isn't playing well at all. And there's your final score. Kennesaw State came back, but a little too late. Auburn wins it 20-17 on the road. They advance to the quarterfinals, and once again, the Kennesaw State Owls are eliminated from the national championship tournament after a very solid season. And once again, the national championship escapes Hayden Fox and the Kennesaw State Owls. This roster is stacked with 4-star guys, 5-star guys. I don't know why they just cannot get over the hump. Is it Hayden Fox can't win the big game? We'll have to see. 20-17, the Owls fall. They came back, but they just fell behind by too much early on and were not able to make the complete comeback. We lost our defensive coordinator, so we had to hire Andy Redfield to come in and take over the defense. He has a C rating, so hopefully he will be able to get the defense turned around, because that just was not good, that game there. Number 3 recruiting class for the Owls. 6 5-star guys, 7 4-star guys. We continue to bring in top players. Can we turn it into a championship? We are now in season 23. The year is 2046, and a national championship still escapes Kennesaw State. The Owls are ranked number 12 in the preseason poll. Look at this. They got a bump in their prestige. They are now a 4-star school. 90 overall, 89 offense, 91 defense, and they are predicted to win the Eastern Division Championship. Halfway through the season, they are ranked number 7 at 5-1, 3-0 in Conference USA play. They lost to Troy. What a heartbreaker to start the season, 46-44. Then they beat New Mexico 28-17, beat North Carolina 33-14, beat Arkansas State 38-24, beat La Tech 30-14. Then they won at UMass 26-21 in a game that was tighter than it needed to be. But they got the win anyway, that's all that matters. Owls are ranked number 7 in the nation, 5-1. Syracuse is the number 1 team right now at 7-0. In the Eastern Division of Conference USA, the Owls are 5-1, 3-0, tied for first place with UConn and Rutgers. Those two games on the schedule later in the season, and they look like they will be important. La Tech currently leading the West Division with Western Kentucky. All right, final results of the regular season. The Owls are ranked number 6, 11-1. Great season. 8-0 in Conference USA play. The second half started with a victory over Liberty, 51-13. Then a win over Jacksonville State, 28-21. A win over Florida International at home, 35-12. They beat Toledo on the road, 27-14. Huge win at 17th ranked Rutgers, 41-21. And a big win over the UConn Huskies at home, 38-30. So the only loss of the season was that 2-point opening day loss to Troy. 11-1 on the year. The Owls will take on Arkansas State for the Conference USA Championship. They are 8-4, not a bad year for them, but just so close. 2 points, 3 points away from an undefeated season for the Owls. They are ranked number 6 in the nation at 11-1. Clemson is the number 1 team at 12-0. They're the only undefeated team remaining in college football. The Owls win the division 11-1, 8-0. They won it by 2 games over UConn and 2 games over Rutgers. The Owls right now projected to get a first-round bye and be a number 4 seed in the quarterfinals in the Orange Bowl for the national championship playoffs. We'll see how that plays out. Don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We still have to play for the Conference USA Championship, and the Arkansas State Red Wolves are in the way. If we lose the Conference USA Championship, chances of a playoff appearance are very, very low. So the Owls are ranked number 6. They're heavily favored against Arkansas State. They need to come to work. They need to get the job done. And so far, this game was in Tampa, and the Owls have a 21-7 lead here in the Conference USA Championship game. Very solid first half. Look at that pass. Beautiful, right on the money. I don't want to say easy touchdown, but that was a perfect pass, perfect catch, and the Owls played a very solid first half. Nice run there for the touchdown. And can they hold on for the victory? They do indeed at Raymond James Stadium. Kennesaw State wins the Conference USA Championship 28-7. Not as much of a blowout as was expected coming in, but they got the win. That's all that matters. Schumacher had 214 yards passing, 4 touchdowns on the day to lead the Owls to another Conference USA Championship, in which they will get to celebrate once again in front of an empty table. Thanks, EA. Beautiful scoring passes right there. And there it is, the empty table with no Conference USA Championship. I love when they point at it too. That's even better. So the Owls win the Conference USA title once again. Still don't have a trophy to prove it after a 28-7 win at Raymond James Stadium over Arkansas State. The Red Wolves will be going to a bowl game at 12-1. The Owls more than likely will be going to a national championship playoff bid. We'll find that out in just a few seconds. Owls win the Conference USA Championship once again. They are a perennial CUSA Championship contender. Sadly, they are not a national championship contender. And let's see, first playoff game, 7th ranked Kennesaw State is the home team. They will be taking on 10th ranked Iowa State, the Cyclones, in the national playoffs. And it was a tough game. 14-14 at the half, as you would expect any playoff game to be. Kennesaw State actually hosted this game on campus. 3rd time they've hosted a playoff game on campus. They're 1-1. And let's see what's going on here. They fall to 1-2. Wow, 15-point fourth quarter by Iowa State, and the Cyclones pull out an improbable 29-28 win and move on in the playoffs. Wow, what a kick to the gut for Kennesaw State. Wow, that's just tragic. It was a good game back and forth as we were expecting, but the Owls defense couldn't get it done at the end of the game, and the Cyclones literally pull out a 29-28 win with 15 points in the fourth quarter. Owls finished their season 12-2. Iowa State moves on at 11-2. Wow, that hurts. Will the Owls ever win a national championship? That is just too bad. 1 point loss. And once again, the Owls have the number one recruiting class in the country. 7 5-star guys, 10 4-star guys. They're like the Patriots used to be. They keep reloading, but they can't win a national championship. Maybe next season will be the one. We are now in season 24. The year is 2047, and Hayden Fox has said he does not have much time left on the field. So, heading into season 24, Kennesaw State ranked number 20 in the preseason poll. You can see the recruiting went pretty well in the off-season, but number 20 in the preseason poll, and we are once again predicted to win the Eastern Division Championship in Conference USA. 4-star school still, 90 overall, 90 offense, 91 defense. That is a well-rounded team coming into the season. And Hayden Fox, you can tell, starting to take a toll on him. 20 plus years at the helm, no national championships. So you have to wonder how long he's going to be able to hold out. He has the Owls ranked number 20 in the preseason poll. The midseason report shows the Owls up to number 9, and they were a perfect 6-0, 2-0 in Conference USA play. Could this be the year? They opened up with a 48-3 win over James Madison, 45-3 win at Buffalo, 38-37 win against Rice. That was much closer than it should have been. And a win over San Diego State, 14-8. That was also closer than it needed to be. Maybe these are the Cardiac Kids. They beat Arkansas State 44-39, another tight one. And then finally a decisive win at New Mexico State, 48-10. So the Owls are 6-0, 2-0 in Conference USA, 9th in the nation at 6-0. Clemson is number 1 at 5-0. Still a lot of undefeated teams left. And Kennesaw State 6-0, 2-0, leading the Eastern Division. They're tied right now with Liberty, but the Flames are 3-2. Sam Houston leads the West, 4-2, 2-0. So what can Kennesaw State put together in the second half of the season? 6-0 start, number 9 in the country. So they are coming into the second half of the year with a head of steam, looking for a playoff bid again, and 9-3. They fell to number 17 in the polls. Let's see, they got that win over New Mexico State 48-10. They beat UMass 27-17. Then they won at Liberty 27-13, keeping the undefeated season alive. Then they lost a tough one. 16th ranked Jacksonville State, they lost 27-24. That was a tough loss, but against a good team. Then they lost at Florida International, another tight one, 23-20. That was a game they should have won. And they broke the losing streak with a 31-21 win against Rutgers, but then lost to UConn, another game they should have won, 24-20. So 3 losses in the last 4 games. That destroyed the season, and every single one of those was a possible winning game that the Owls could have taken. They were just a couple of breaks away from an undefeated season. Sadly, they fall to number 17 in the polls, 9-3 overall. Clemson, 12-0. They are your number 1 team in the nation. Kennesaw State could not even win the Eastern Division. Jacksonville State did, 10-2, 7-1. The Owls were 2 games behind. So what a devastating end to what was a fantastic season through 8 games. They were 8-0. And finished 9-3. Still, though, the athletic director loves what Hayden Fox is doing, loves the attention he's getting to the program, and they sign him to a brand new 5-year contract once again. Chances are pretty good that Hayden will not fulfill that. He told the AD that, and the athletic director said, that's fine. We want you as long as we can have you. 2047 Lineman of the Year, Jamal Hendricks for the Owls. Nice when you get your guys recognized. 2047 Center of the Year, Sam Walter. Congratulations to him. He's a senior. He'll probably be heading off to the NFL once the season concludes. The Owls had national championship hopes after 8 games. They settle for a Myrtle Beach Bowl bid against the Akron Zips. The Owls fall to number 19 in the polls. That's just, what a fall from grace. They go to the Myrtle Beach Bowl, and as expected, huge first half, 28-10 lead over Akron at the Myrtle Beach Bowl. I mean, the Owls were heavily favored in this game by 28 points, and they have the big lead in the first half. Love the all-gold uniforms. And in the second half, this game was played at Coastal Carolina. They host the Myrtle Beach Bowl. And in the second half, the Owls' defense got a little bit careless, let Akron back into the game, but the Owls get the win 38-28 to salvage what was once a very promising senior halfback rush for 156 yards and 3 touchdowns, Owen Hollenbeck. And the Owls get the victory in the Myrtle Beach Bowl. 8 games into the season, they were looking at a possible national championship. Instead, they lose 3 of their last 4 games and end up the Myrtle Beach Bowl champions. Not what they had in mind. That is for sure. 38-28. And they had to put up 10 points in the fourth quarter to put it away. They let Akron get back into the game. So Kennesaw State finishes the year 10-3. Still a very solid year. Just when you go 8-0, you have much bigger aspirations. And they win the Myrtle Beach Bowl. So let's take a look at what we did for recruiting this year. Is it another stellar recruiting class for the Owls? Indeed it is. Number 3 class overall. 8 5-star guys, 7 4-star guys. We just keep bringing in top-notch talent, and we just can't win the big game. So we'll have to see. Will season 25 be the big one? We'll find out soon enough. We are in year 2048, season 25. Hayden Fox has announced he will retire at the end of this season. 25 years at the helm of the Kennesaw State Owls. They are ranked number 21 in the preseason poll this year, 91 overall, 91 offense, 92 defense. 4-star prestige school. Hayden has done a fantastic job here, just unable to win a national championship. Mid-season report, 5-1, 3-0 in Conference USA play, so not bad so far. We lost 38-33 at Tennessee. Beat Penn State, number 16, Penn State 34-28. Beat New Mexico State 20-12. Beat UCLA 24-20. Won at Sam Houston 31-3. And then won at UMass 31-10. So 5-1, 3-0 in Conference USA play. Could this be Hayden Fox's year? His swan song season, could it be with a national championship? Owls are number 12 in the country, 5-1. Georgia is the top-ranked team in the nation at 6-0. Eastern Division shows Kennesaw State 5-1, 3-0, tied with Liberty, and Rutgers looks like a fantastic finish once again in the Conference USA Eastern Division. So we'll take a look at what went down in the final season, second half of the final season for Hayden Fox and the Kennesaw State Owls. 9-3 is how they finish, number 15 in the final regular season poll. After the win at UMass, the Owls came home and beat Liberty 45-14. Then lost, that's a heartbreaker, at Jacksonville State 37-34. The next week they came home against Florida International, beat them 31-10. Beat FCS West 35-17. That tells you everything you need to know. We should have beat them by 50 points. Only beat them 35-17. So maybe this team isn't as good as we thought. We lost at Rutgers, another heartbreaker, 17th ranked Scarlet Knights with a 28-22 win. And we finished out the regular season with a 51-6 victory over UConn. So Hayden Fox wins his regular season finale. The team finishes 9-3 again. Possibly could have gone undefeated. 6-2 in Conference USA play. They will not play for the Conference USA Championship in Hayden Fox's final year. They will go to a bowl game though. 9-3. That gets you to the postseason. The Owls finish 15th in the final regular season poll, 9-3. Georgia's the number 1 team in the nation at 12-0. Kennesaw State 9-3, 6-2. They fell 1 game behind Rutgers, so that loss was very, very important. Rutgers will play La Tech for the CUSA Championship. Kennesaw State will move right on to a bowl game and what will be Hayden Fox's final game as head coach, and it will take place in the R+L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. The 18th ranked Kennesaw State Owls battle the Washington State Cougars. In the New Orleans Bowl, Kennesaw State and Hayden Fox's final game. Lots of offense in the first half, 28-7 lead, mainly because of passes like that. Beautiful pass. Kennesaw State takes it in for the score, 28-7 lead here at the Caesars Superdome for the New Orleans Bowl. Hayden Fox's final game as a college coach. How did the second half go? Well, the same. Kennesaw State pulls out. Well, they didn't pull out. They dominated for a 49-21 win. So Hayden Fox goes out a winner. Sadly, he leaves the game retiring without a national championship. Schumacher had 263 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. There's one of them right there. Hayden Fox retires. He has a very solid winning record. Led the team to many bowl games, many Conference USA championships, but could not win a national championship for Kennesaw State. That will haunt him for the rest of his life. This one a 49-21 victory in his final game on the sidelines. 10-3 is how the Owls finished the season. Another 10 victory season for Hayden Fox. He goes out a New Orleans Bowl winner, not the game he wanted to win for his final game. So 25 seasons, Kennesaw State unable to win a national championship. Hayden Fox retires.